Hello everyone and welcome to the United Gamedom podcast special of Gaelish. It's the Game of the Year 2018 special that we do every year. We do this every year at the end of, around the start of the mid of January. And of course we are once again slap bang in the middle of January and we are doing this here. I'm going to basically say now that this will be the last United Gamedom podcast we will be doing, because I am actually contemplating not going to be buying a lot of games from this year. Therefore, I don't see myself probably doing one on a regular basis anymore. Therefore, I will probably just do this Game of the Year one from now on. And because I always enjoy doing these here now, and that's pretty much the reason why, because I'm trying to save some bit more money. I'm trying to probably cut back on a bit of game and cut back on, buying a lot of games and ending up not playing half of them and stuff like that there, and having my backlog list grow ever so longer, because it's been the flipping hundreds pretty much at this point, and I'll be in my grave by the time I get to most of them at this point as well if I keep buying games. So I am going to be cutting back on buying games, and therefore probably not going to do a monthly or sort of bi-monthly anymore. I might do one like out of the blue if I might do one out of the blue if I feel up to doing one perhaps, but other than that, this will be the last sort of one we'll do. But we'll do a Game of the Year special every year, because it's pretty much my favorite podcast we do, because I enjoy talking to my two co-hosts here, which I'll introduce shortly, that I do every year because I enjoy talking the games that we enjoyed, if all of us enjoyed, or not someone enjoyed, got more interesting to one and stuff like that. So anyway, of course, I'm Darren, and with me are my delightful co-hosts, the D's, Derek and Denis. Hello, Derek and Denis. How are you doing this Saturday evening / afternoon?
Hello.
/ morning. Hello. For Derek.
Morning, yeah. Almost afternoon.
Yeah. Pretty good. We're actually the 3Ds. You're a D also, so.
Yeah. Triple D.
Yeah. The triple Ds.
So, yeah, we're going to look back on 2018, which was, I wouldn't say it was, people say it's one of the best year in gaming. I tend to disagree.
I highly disagree.
I thought it was a year that had consistently good games, though, for what I played, but the fact is, it didn't have, that, oh my god, what a fantastic game now, or stuff like that. I didn't have that, killer game, in my honest opinion, from last year now, despite what some people would say, like a certain Rockstar game, for example, that will be talked about later on, of course, and amongst other ones. But I wouldn't say it was like the best year. I think 2017 was better, and I think even 2016 was better. But we'll be looking back on, of course, we'll go through. This will pretty much be the same format as we always do. We'll go through our honourable mentions, and then we'll go through number 10 to 6. We'll end that part, and then we'll go through our disappointments, and then our numbers 5 to 1. And I have some, but if you have any as well, some of the games that we're looking forward to coming out to playing in this upcoming year in 2019. So anyway, I think I will go first, because I usually ask one of you to go first, so I do, but this time I'll actually decide to go first.
Alright.
And I'll go through my honourable mentions. So the first two are pretty much, I could have probably had these in my top 10, but again, the fact is that they are games that came out before, and therefore I just couldn't see myself adding them just for the hell of it, because I fucking love these games. The first one is, of course, Dark Souls Remastered. The fact is, if I was contemplating putting this in my top 10, it'd probably be number 1 or in the top 5, just because it's Dark Souls and it's one of my favourite games of all time, and it was my favourite game of 2011 retroactively. But it's pretty much, yes, it's Dark Souls in 60 frames per second on the current consoles. But the fact is, that's really the only thing they did in that game, apart from a few other things, like they added the password system from later games, and the spiced up the resolution and here and there, and that's pretty much it. And I think you can have more players in co-op as well, but other than that, it's just basically a remastered port, which is a very good one. It's if you want to play sort of the definitive version, I guess. This will probably be it, although so it would be, and it's still a fantastic game. And the second one is, of course, Shenmue, which is one of my favorite games of all time also. But this is that's even less of a sort of done, like less of a sort of remaster in a way. It is more like a port. Like it has like, you know, HD resolution and stuff like that, but not a whole lot of it was done as well. There's no like new content or anything like that now. It just has, you know, it has Japanese audio now in both of the games, which wasn't the case when they both came out originally. And that's pretty much it. And it had some problems as well. It had some bugs apparently, especially with the second one, where the music kind of effed up in places according to some people. But I've yet to play the second one again, so I'll probably play that this year, because a certain game called Shenmue 3 is coming out this year. Hopefully,
maybe.
And not get that out again.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yes. Death's Gambit, which is a game that I was looking forward to playing. It came out in August. It's pretty much another sort of 2D Souls-like game that is pretty hard. And at first I was not liking this game because I thought it just had some, I don't know, balance issues, I guess, because your stamina tend to run out very fucking quickly, and no matter how much you put in the stamina, it still seemed to be the case no matter which weapon you used. And that was the biggest sort of, it wasn't like, oh my god, the bosses are so, like, the bosses are hard in the game, but it wasn't like that. Like, the biggest hurdle I had in this game was stamina, where half the time you just ran out of stamina so quickly, and then therefore you got killed by a boss or an enemy easily because I ran out of stamina. I could not, you know, regain in time. But thankfully, once I got better weapons and stuff like that throughout the game, it ended up being a much more enjoyable experience. And I definitely recommend checking it out if you like the Souls games. I gifted this to Derek over Christmas, and hopefully check it out sometime this year.
So if you run out of stamina, does your character like get stuck or something, or run out of breath, or like stand there for a second?
I think it's like more like standing like a second though, but it just goes down way too quickly though. I don't know if they patched it now. They could have patched it since then to make it a bit more. I think it actually has been balanced a bit better since I've played it. So if you go into it now, it might be a lot more pleasurable experience for you than it was for me, because I got this when it came out, and that was kind of like the problem I had with it. So you can let me know if you ever decide to check it out though. But that's the problem I had with it though when I played through it back in August. This one kills me though, because I don't know why. Like I really enjoy playing this game, but I just stopped playing it for a reason I talked about there before we went on air, that I got to a battle, and then all of a sudden the battle was just kicking my ass, escaped the battle, and I never played it since, and that is Octopath Traveler. I think the game is a lot of fun. I think the battle system's great. I love the way the characters look, the whole 16-bit sort of 3D 2D 2.5D-ish look, the kind of diorama look. And I think the soundtrack of what I heard from it is fucking incredible. Soundtrack of the year in my opinion from what I heard. I think I'm probably sure it's a lot better if I heard like more tracks though. But for what I heard of it though, I think it's a brilliant soundtrack. But that's like just a real heartbreak. I only played 7 hours though, and therefore I just couldn't see myself have it in my top 10 unfortunately because of that.
You gotta grind.
Yeah.
That's one game where if you go outside of the area where if you're in like if you finish chapter 1 instead of going to chapter 2, you go to an area where chapter 3 is, like the enemies will be a lot stronger, and it's easy to go into an area when you don't realize where like the invisible walls are that cut it off from level 10 up to like level 20 or 30 or whatever. So
But the
it's possible you may have just
but no, that's what it wasn't the case because this was where I had to go for Trish's first chapter.
so it was like the boss fight.
Though it wasn't even a boss fight, it was the first battle I came across after completing her little little intro to her story. And just when I'd said like her Trish is the merchant, isn't it? That's the one who's in like the port town or
Yep.
something. Yeah, I think it was her. The first battle I went, I'd say just after beginning her intro. Okay, right. I went through her little intro story. Okay, right. Gets going now. Do her battles. That was the first battle I did, and it's just like, whoa, this just picked up this went way up in difficulty since. And like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm just not grinding or anything, because I was still grinding with the other characters and stuff like that there. But it just seemed like, holy crap, this was just way unfair all of a sudden. This is like a way harder than the bosses I fought previously. So
Had you been upgrading your gear, like buying better gear
yeah, getting
in the
gear and stuff.
shops?
Yeah, and
Okay.
buying gear and stuff like that for like the characters are not there. Like most of the equipment I had for the other characters was like the best stuff I had at the time. So I don't know why. I just flipping like
I never had that experience.
yeah. But like I heard someone else who played through it though. He had sort of problems as well. That sometimes there's some difficulty spikes where you seem to be coasting along sometimes, and all of a sudden you just hit this roadblock. Is all of a sudden like, what the hell? This battle is just impossible now or something. But yeah, that's the biggest thing that just kills me though. But I really enjoy the game nonetheless. Hopefully I'll try to get back to it this year. Uh, Spyro the Dragon from the Reignited trilogy. I played through it, I finished it, and I got the platinum. I loved Spyro the Dragon back. I got Spyro the Dragon with my PlayStation 20 years ago for Christmas, and I played this pretty much 20 years later, and I really enjoyed it. I have not played the second or third one yet, so I just put the first one as an honourable mention because I really enjoyed playing it again. Vampire. It's just a game I've played about maybe 5 to 10 hours of at the moment. I need to go back to it as well. Those two are games actually currently on rent, and I've had them for like maybe a month or two now. So I definitely need to get back and play them and try and send them back so I can get other games now. That's what I'm tending to do now more. We're not going to buy games. I'm just going to tend to rent some games, especially games that can be completed like within a lot of days or a week or two, rather than I'm not going to go out in my way and like rent an RPG now. I'd rather just own RPGs so I can because they're going to be long games anyway. It's by Dognod, who did Life is Strange and that there, and it's good. It's sort of third person sort of action adventure game. You play this doctor who recently became a vampire. And it's set in sort of early 20th century London now. This kind of gothic looking feel of London, and you'd be in this hospital area now, and there's like a bunch of these different like patients and NPCs, and the way you could do things like you could be sort of a good sort of character, I guess, and don't go around and glamour them when you like upgrade enough level to glamour them and take them away somewhere and bite them or anything like that. Now you can do that now, or you can just be like like a good character and doesn't do anything like that now, just tries to be a bit more honourable, I guess. And the combat's decent enough though, but again, I didn't play a lot of it though to sort of warrant a top 10 position, but it's enjoyable.
Is that is that an RPG or an action game, first person shooter, or what?
It's a third person action game. Well, it's not. Yeah, I think you do level up in that game now. Yeah, but it's not like it's not like a. Yeah, you do like get these different skills, but it's not like a very deep
It's not
RPG
like
now.
Dragon Age or something.
No, it's not. It's a bit like that, but not really deep like that. Now, like you don't go around and talk and have romances and stuff like that. But you could talk to talk to different characters. It has shares a bit of similarity to Dragon Age now, but like you could talk to characters, and some of the characters give these like you get these like clues and from like other characters, and you go back to this other character and talk about this nurse in the hospital talks to this other one. This has like a low down relationship with one of the, I think, drivers, or like like paramedics or something, and like you find that out and you go to one of them and say, okay, I find out about this here, and you just sort of just find information about each of the different people who are part of that hospital now and stuff like that. Now, like that's kind of like the hub area, I guess. And then you go to these other different areas in London now and do these different quests and stuff like that. But yeah, you do level up now, because it is like a RPG action franchise, like RPG though, but it's not very in depth now, like a standard RPG is, but it's good nonetheless. Blade of Fury is a game I only never knew existed until like last month. I saw it on Steam. It looked cool. It just reminded me of Muramasa the Demon Blade, or like a vanilla world game. Dennis gifted me this because I put it on my wish list, high on the list. I played through it. It's only like 3 hours. It's good.
That's a short game.
Okay. It's a short game. That's why it's not that expensive.
Okay.
And I think probably it's actually done by a Chinese team now, so it is. And they pretty much said it out fact is like, we're very inspired by Vanillaware and Muramasa, and that's pretty much it. So if you ever played Muramasa, then you should like this game, because it's quite similar to it, and I enjoyed it for that. But I think Muramasa is better, but still, it's pretty cheap. And
what is it called?
Blade of Fury. It's on Steam. Like I said, I think it already actually came out last month as well. But it's a good game. I definitely recommend it though, and I put them all in my mentions. Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. This is like the sort of prelude, I guess, to Life is Strange 2. I played it over the summer. It's like a couple of hours. It was free, so I don't have anything to complain about there. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was just a nice little wee story and set in the Life is Strange universe with a little child. I forget his name. I'm basically going to call him
Macaulay
Kevin.
Culkin?
No, just call him Kevin McAllister. Because he looks like young Macaulay Culkin.
Just call him boy. Everything's boy this year.
Yeah, the year of the boy. Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. I played like a couple of hours of this.
That's in my top 10.
I did not go back to it, but the other game will be on my top 10, just basically to let you know now. The other Yakuza game that came out last year will be on my top 10. So I'm not going to say I have no love for Yakuza this year. It's pretty much the same as last year, where I had one game in my honorable mentions last year, and then one game was in my top 10. A game that me and Des played like a chunk of on PlayStation 4, that although I think it was in beta like for like a year or two, I think technically it did come out this year, and that is Paladins Champions of the Realm, which is basically
I completely forgot that game.
Yeah, which is basically
I have to rethink my top
very very, if you played Overwatch, it's pretty much Overwatch.
Yeah,
so it is,
pretty much.
Except it's not as good as Overwatch, in my opinion, but it's still very fun nonetheless. Like they have a bunch of different heroes. Some of them are good, others are not. And play like the whole the match types are similar, I guess. Like one of them is like, okay, you fight at this point, if one of you gets the point, then lead this like what the fuck fuck is the payload pretty much.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
just trying
much.
to lose. Yeah,
They have a
payload to
different name
their-
for it, but it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, it's like escort the payload to their end of the map. But if you get it, you have to try to escort to your end of the map before the time's up, and that's one of them. And the other ones is basically like get a hold on to a point as well, which is like something like in Overwatch as well. But I enjoyed it. And Dead Cells. This would probably have been in my top 10 if I actually went around and finished it. I did not finish it. I actually got to the last boss once and just got pretty much destroyed. I was like, this was actually one I was considering putting in my top 10 now, but I just decided not to. It is a great game though. I know a lot of people really love this game. It was one of the bigger games that came out last year. Like it was an early access from 2017, but eventually came out in 2018. Definitely a great game. Very basically like a roguelike. You go through runs and stuff like that. A lot of people compare it as like a Metroidvania though. I don't get the Metroidvania thing. Sure enough, there's certain parts of the sort of different areas you can't access until you get certain abilities.
Everything's a Metroidvania
That's
now.
pretty much the only comparison. Other than that, it's very different to that. But it's a great game. Just controls very well. Some of the abilities and weapons you can, if you get like a good combination of weapons, then you can easily go through that game. Have a great run and stuff like that there. And other times you get stuck with crap, and therefore you're not going to have a great run. But like I definitely would have put this in my top 10, but like there's just certain games like I played more of them, I liked them more and stuff like that. East 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, the Switch version specifically, because I believe it came out last year, so it did.
That's the first game I have no idea what it is.
It's part of the East series. Derek, I believe, has played this game on the PS4. On the PS4, didn't you?
Yeah, PS4.
I know when it eventually came out in 2017 that it was a good game, but the fact is the localization was very bad, and because it wasn't complete, it wasn't because it wasn't originally done by
the Xseed.
Yeah, it's actually that usually does it, but it was like NAS America, I believe.
Oh yeah,
and therefore a lot of people complain that the actual language localization was bad, and certain things were misspelled and stuff like that, and there were certain other problems with it though, and it eventually got patched, but not until a few months later. I got the Switch version for £15 or so from someone I follow on Twitter. He said he was selling, and I asked, I think got it for £15, and I played about 5 to 10 hours of it though, and I was actually really enjoying it as well. But again, I just stopped playing it for unknown reasons. Maybe something else came out and just went to it instead.
Yeah, I was playing it when I think right before Monster Hunter World came out. So once that came out, then that's when I switched to that game. But yeah, it has really good music, and I like the combat. There isn't really anything going on in the story yet, so I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't continued playing it. You crash on some island and then you're trying to find survivors, and that's all that's really happened.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I got a bit of bunch of bosses and got a couple of people though, and that was pretty much it though. But yeah, it's very fun. The combat's great, the music is good ass standard Falcon music fair, and yeah, that's another game I definitely want to go back to this year and try and play through as well. This one is interesting again. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. The first one was my second favorite game of 2013, and therefore it's a big drop when the second one is not in my top 10. Again, I think this is basically a reason of this just came out at a bad time, because it came out a few weeks before God of War. when it came out, I pretty much played it, and therefore I never went back to it. I went back to it eventually, like few months later. Played a bit of it then, and then I think something else came out then I wanted to focus on, and therefore just never got back to playing it though. I got to like chapter 5, so I did, and probably put what 20-25 hours or something into it, or maybe 25 to 30 hours, and just never got around to finishing it though. I probably think I like the gameplay in this one more because it's a lot easier than the first one. Like I have,
to the point of being too easy sometimes.
Yes, I think it is a lot easier than the first one.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. There's no question there.
Yeah, like I think the only trouble I had was there's like I think it was one of the dream doors. Yeah, it was one of those dream dungeons. I did one of them now. I got to the bottom. I was like I think I was level 30 odd or 40 or something. Level 30 odd, or I think it was like level 30 odd or something. And when you're going through those dungeons, like this meter fills up, and like the higher it goes, like the higher the level of the enemies go. Yeah. I got to the boss, and I think I was like level 50. I was like, yep, I'm going to die here now. And surprisingly enough, I did not die.
Oh, okay.
I was close to death. And then thankfully, the guiding light, the little orb thing that comes, like the golden orb that comes and basically, spruces up, that came and then just fucking wailed on the boss then and just destroyed it afterwards. And I was just so lucky.
And then you stopped playing right after that?
No, it was like a couple of hours, I think, after that now.
Okay.
I played a bit more of it and that was it then. But like, yeah, I really enjoyed that though. The story is not so much, like I'm not really into the story as much as the first one. I don't mind the characters per se, but I prefer like the actual journey more in the first one, like Oliver, like, and Mr. Drippy and that there, and more than like this one here. But like I said, I didn't finish it, so it could have get better from. But I think I heard reviews basically did say that the story was nothing to write home about anyway though, so. But I enjoyed the gameplay though, but other than that, just never got around to finishing it though. I did like the whole, building your kingdom, the Evermore kingdom. That was good as well. Stuff like that though. But yeah, just again, I just wish I played more of it though, but no. And finally, Destiny 2 Forsaken. I pretty much just got this several weeks ago. I played through the campaign. It's pretty short. There's a bunch of stuff to do afterwards. I did some of it. And it's very good. It's really great. Destiny 2 still plays awesome. I still think it's probably the best playing first-person shooter out there. So it is. I don't care what anyone says. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. There's nothing much more to say about Destiny 2 Forsaken. It's more Destiny. They've fixed a lot of things a lot of people had problems with Destiny 2 specifically. And people seem to be pretty happy with it at the moment. And well, there's big news as well that came out this week that Bungie have left Activision and are busy going to do self-publish Destiny from now on as well. So I'm very curious to see what the future of Destiny holds now with no
holds barred
leash from Activision now. People said it's like, oh, this is going to be great now, it's going to be the game that they wanted to make and stuff like that, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep.
Some of the things that people might not like about that game might not have been Activision's doing.
Exactly.
We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's it. Sorry for rambling on there, but that's everything I have. So I will go with Derek. So go ahead, Derek.
Okay. Well, I also have Destiny 2 Forsaken on my honorable mentions. Yeah, like you said, it is better. It feels like there's a lot more to do now, which is cool. I didn't finish everything. Like I made it to the Lost City or Dreaming City or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the Dreaming City.
And I'm like still too low level. Like I can't even do the public events because I just die in like 3 hits or something. So there's still like
what level are you? What level are you at?
Like 517 or something, I think.
Okay. I think I'm 534 or something, I think.
That area I don't like as much just because it's so vertical. Like there's so many levels to it, and it's easy to get lost. And
Yeah, it's huge.
um, it's all like taken, and then it's the new enemies, the Scorn. Um, I don't know, but there's still plenty to do. Like I have a lot more to do, and I would totally be down for playing it some more. I don't think it's different enough from Destiny 2 vanilla when you compare like Taken King with the original Destiny. Like that was such a big change that it was almost like a different game. This is like the same game, but there's like just more to do, really.
Yeah, there's certain changes though, like and like there's certain changes though, but like as you said though, it's not as like a huge jump in difference now between like the original Destiny and Taken King, because that made the game so much better. Like we
Yep.
liked Destiny when it came out. Not a lot of people did though, but when Taken King came out, that was pretty much this is the game which Destiny should have been when it came out now, and it was just
Yeah.
much better for it.
Um, a game that I just played for the first time yesterday that I should have played a long time ago, earlier in 2018, but has been in my pile of shame. Dragon Ball Fighter Z,
Yeah, I saw you play
which
that. Yeah.
is a fighting game, and I don't play fighting games anymore. I used to play a bunch of them like 20 years ago, but I just don't have I don't know, the reflexes or the reaction timing necessary. But visually, this is like definitely the best Dragon Ball game ever made.
Yeah, it does
Um,
look sharp. I saw some
and it's
gameplay.
one of the best fighting games ever made as far as the visuals go. Um, I played a little bit of the story, and I do like how they have the story set up, where it's kind of like it has some RPG mechanics to it, where you have this. It's almost like a game board, and each spot that you can like you have 19 turns or so, for example, per game board, and there'll be different spaces where you're either fighting a boss or you're doing a tutorial um, battle, or you're rescuing one of the other characters. So you start out with Goku, and then you get Krillin, and then you get Yamcha, and then Tien. I think the next one I can get is Trunks, but um, and then you can equip 3 skills, like you can have attack up, defense up, or have life drain, or increase your charge. So there's some like RPG elements there. You do level up too, but I don't know if that affects like your damage or your defense at all. Um, but it's cool. It's not so far. It's super easy. I think that's just because I'm playing the story mode and I'm not playing other people or anything. Um, but I'll probably continue that uh, as I have time, because I really like the Dragon Ball universe. So I'd like to see what the story is, because I know they made a new character exclusively for the game, Android 21, and I think it was written by the original creator, Akira
Yeah,
Toriyama.
Kirito, yeah.
So I do want to see that just to finish it out. I hope it doesn't get super hard at the end, because I'm still not great at it and I don't know like the moves or anything. So, um, but it's definitely a lot of fun just to look at for sure.
Well, it took you a year to play it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, when did it come out? Like February,
It came
March?
it came out the same day as Monster Hunter World.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It did. Yep. And I ended up playing Monster Hunter World instead. Um, Another game that nobody's ever played. Well, not another game, but a game that nobody's ever played, aside from me, on PS4. Metal Max Xeno. It's a turn-based RPG, post-apocalyptic. Um, it's on PS4. I think it was originally on Vita and then ported or something, or maybe it was like a cross-buy thing. Um, I don't know. It's a fun little game. It's about tanks. So you have a tank, and you can customize it with crazy guns and like missiles and weird like ray guns and stuff. I put like maybe 10 hours or so into it. It came out like a couple weeks before Fist of the North Star, so when that came out, I switched to that game. But it's a good game. I do want to go back to it and continue it.
That is a game I still need to get though, and I'll probably get it once like cheap enough this year, Fist of the North Star, because I know a lot of people really like that game.
Metal Max or Fist of the North Star?
Fist of the North Star.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, Apparently, this Metal Max is a long-running series in Japan, and it hasn't really had any releases over here. So it's kind of why I wanted to try it out, and it seemed interesting, and I liked the art style of the characters. So it's okay. It feels like an older game. It feels like a PlayStation 3 or maybe even a PlayStation 2 game. So it's not like super great looking visually or anything, but
those games don't tend to be that way. Like a lot of those, games that never come out of Japan. Like you definitely tend to they're probably working on the same kind of engine or whatever from years ago.
What they were on like Super Nintendo originally or NES apparently.
Oh right, yeah, yes, yeah, but like some of them get Gundam games and stuff like that now, and like it's like I know you play the
like Earth Defense Force, or are you talking?
Yeah, Earth Defense Force. Yeah, Earth Defense Force. One of those ones. Like I'm sure like the graphics have gone up a bit now, but they're still pretty much the same, and it's pretty much like a lot of blocky political stuff and stuff like that when you're fighting through buildings and stuff like that as well. Like I remember like the 360 version of was Earth Defense Force 2017. Like I'm playing that, it's like, yep, this is a game that could have been on the PS2.
Yeah, I think it's like with that series specifically, they have like such a massive scale.
Yeah.
That like makes up for the lower quality graphics.
Yeah.
And then I might as well talk about Fist of the North Star. I was contemplating putting it in my top 10, but I'm putting it in my honorable mentions. It's really weird because it's basically just a Yakuza game, like with Fist of the North Star put on top of it. Like the setting, it's the post-apocalyptic. It's in the future. Everything's all beat up and run down, and but everything is. Like the game engine and like the voice actors, and even like some of the animations of the characters, and it has sub stories, it has side missions or mini games. So it's basically like a Yakuza game, which is cool. But it doesn't have quite the same charm as Yakuza, and the story. I don't know. So far, it really isn't there, and I put 20, 30 hours into it. So that it's missing that part of it, I would say. But the combat is pretty much Yakuza combat, but like a little over the top because when you're fighting enemies, you hit their pressure points. It's like the fighting style of the main character, Kenshiro. And then they'll like their head will explode, or their arms will explode, or their like torso will explode. So it depends on like what direction you're facing them.
Yeah, it's like they're pretty much their version of heat moves, isn't it?
Kinda, yeah. This has a lot of quick time events, which Yakuza doesn't have as much of. Like this has a lot of them. So anytime you do one of the heat moves, basically, there's going to be a QTE, and the timing is really tight. Like if you want to do more damage, and as you know, I don't like quick time events. Some of the ones are easier to do than others. It all depends on where the like you have to match up the circle with like the button on the screen. Like it'll come flying in, and you have to hit it right at the right time.
Oh yeah.
Like it's different with each type of move you're doing. So some of them I'm better at than others. And it's hard to like judge when the timing is right, because it just comes flying in from off screen and it's so fast, and I'm just not great at that. So that's like one thing I don't like about it, that and the story. But some of the side stories or the side missions, or I'm sorry, the mini games and then sub stories are pretty good. I like the bartender mini game, and then that also has its own sub stories. That's fun just because some of the drink names. I don't know if you saw. I posted some screenshots on Twitter, but one of the drinks is called "You Are Already Drunk." It's really funny. But those are kind of weird. Like you either have to shake the controller, like the gyroscope, up and down a bunch to like you're shaking some ice and with a drink. Or you have to spin the joystick, the right stick, really fast. Or the other one is you're hitting X, square, triangle, circle, like constantly, like kind of a circle, but on the buttons, on the face buttons. And then they have 3 levels of difficulty, and it took me a while to get used to some of those, but I don't have any trouble now. Those are kind of fun. I enjoyed that. That's part of it. This also has a host club or like a cabaret club mode, but it's super confusing. Like there's so much going on, and I feel
That's a
like it's
shame.
hard. It's hard to like that. All the text and all the icons are so small. Like I can't see them. It's really weird. It's like they need to increase the size of that or something. And when you have customers come in and sit down at a table, there's not just one spot for the customer and one spot for the host. There's like 3, so you can have one customer and then 2 hosts. And part of the strategy, I guess, is like picking when to use 1 or 2 and picking the right one. So it's more complicated, and there are more like stats and stuff, which isn't bad. It's just I don't think the presentation is as good. It's worth trying for sure. If you get the game, definitely try it out and see what you think. Um, there's a mode where you're helping out a doctor at a clinic, and it's a rhythm game with quick time events. So I totally don't like those. So I did it like once, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. So if you're good at theater rhythm games, you'll probably be good at that. I'm guessing. But yeah, I don't know. It's just missing something. It's missing like I think the story. I think is the one thing that's really the the most disappointing thing about the game. It's still a really good game, and I do want to go back and finish it, but it's not quite up to par of like some of the Yakuza games.
I'll
Um,
still definitely get it though anyway, because I know it's
yeah,
a
it's worth buying, and I think it's even like 20 or 30 bucks now,
yeah.
so
It's
it's
that's
pretty
not the
cheap.
case here.
Oh, I've seen it on sale for a good price. And I think I just have one more honorable mention, and that is a game that I debated putting on my top 10 again, but I decided to put it in my honorable mentions, and that is State of Decay 2, which I played on PC. Um, the I think it's a better game in terms of like the gameplay and the world than the first game, but it's missing like the story part of it from the first game. Um, it's like they designed it so that you replay it a lot. Like it's not designed to just play it through once and finish it. It's designed to play through several times. So basically, the only thing you do in the main, as far as like the main quest goes, is you have to take out. I think it's 10 or maybe 15 of these. I don't know. It's like this big, huge blob of like zombie parts or something. It's almost like a heart, like an organ in your body, a heart, and you have to destroy it. Um, and there are 10 of them, or 10 or 15. I don't know the exact number. Once you
Wasn't
destroy
that
all
something you did
those,
in Crackdown 2 as well? Something similar to that?
I
We
never
had to go
played.
around, and I think that was like you had to go around and destroy these big, zombie things or something, and like 9 of them or something overall.
Hmm.
So, but I just sorry about that. Continue.
So you have to destroy those, and once you do that, then you'll get one like final quest, and then like you finish the game, or yeah, essentially. And then what you do is you can carry over some of the items or characters from that playthrough into another playthrough. And there are 3 maps that you can choose from. And so like when you start the game for the first time, you pick one of them. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's really fun playing the one time, but I don't see myself playing it like over and over and over and over again, just because it's not really that long, and you could really finish it as soon as you want. Like you could start the game, move into your first base, and then go straight for killing those 10 heart things. You don't have to go recruit more people. You don't have to move to a better base. Um, you don't really have to do anything other than just that. So, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of side things that come up. Um, some survivor will need help and they'll call you, or somebody needs you to help fix something, or you need some supplies. That stuff happens, but there's no real need to do that. There is kind of like this relationship system where if you don't help people enough, then they become enemies, and they won't. I don't think they come like attack your base, but if you're near them, they'll attack you. But ultimately, that doesn't really matter too much. They did add some stuff, and there's some free DLC. And actually, my friend bought me the first like big DLC pack, but I haven't gone back and played it yet. There's kind of like I think it's like a wave-based horde mode thing that they added. I haven't tried that, and I think there's some other stuff they added too.
Of course, if we face mode with zombies, like that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
So, it's a good game if you like the first one. It's worth playing. But just the way they kind of set it up, I didn't like it as much. So that's all I have for honorable mentions.
Okie dokie. Dennis, go
Hey,
ahead.
hello. How you doing?
Yes. Hello, I forgot to speak. I've been talking so long.
All right, honorable mentions. First off, Bayonetta 1 and 2, which I played this year, and finished 1 pretty much at the end of 2. I need to go back and finish that one.
What chapter are you on?
Is it 8? 7 or 8, something like that.
Okay, so you're about halfway through the game then.
Oh, it's halfway through? Okay. I thought it was
Yes.
I was getting close to the end.
No, it has
Okay.
16 chapters as well. I think it doesn't have like an epilogue now. I think it's a 16 chapters.
And it
like
ends.
the first game, but the first game had the 16 chapters and then the epilogue.
So yeah, Bayonetta is pretty much, it came out a couple of years ago, and I didn't get
on
into
PC
it.
it did. It came out 9 years ago on PC, on PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah, exactly. So I was looking for games to play this summer. I streamed the entire Bayonetta playthrough online. I have it also in my YouTube channel and everything. So yeah, I really enjoyed the first game, and I really dig the second game. It's the same but different. There's like the challenges that you can do, and all of that. I think the story is very good. It's like a little kooky, and the whole Japanese type of game. Like the whole.
It's just bonkers. So
Yeah,
it is.
it's pretty nuts. It's pretty insane. The bosses are pretty great.
What did you think of the final boss from Bayonetta?
From the first one, yeah, it's pretty good. I thought at one point I thought the game was ending. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of a lousy ending. But then there's, of course, another part to it, and that final boss was pretty great. It was a great.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite boss battles of all time. That Jubilee's boss fight.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
He was pretty cool. So yeah, really, really enjoyed both of those games. Won't talk too much about him because everybody knows about him. Burnout Paradise Remastered, which I got on PS4, 60 frames per second, 1080p, looks gorgeous, runs incredibly well. Played a lot of that during the summer with Travis. We did a lot of challenges and everything. Him, me, his son, and my nephew kind of went through some of the challenges in there, and still really enjoyable, still really fun to play with a bunch of people. I don't see myself playing that game by myself because it kind of gets boring if you play alone. But
that was the best part of that game for
Yeah.
me. The whole challenge stuff and that there, playing with your friends and doing the various challenges. Like that was like the reason why I played it though as for as long as I did.
mhm.
Because outside of it though, like playing on the old is boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much do the
Outside of it,
same.
it's playing by yourself is not a very good game. But if you get a crew together, and check the word crew because I'll be talking about that a little later on. But yeah, if you get a bunch of people together and play it, it's really great. Still very
I
enjoyable.
pretty much played all that solo myself,
Oh, really?
but I did enjoy playing it co-op when I had the chance.
Yeah. It's it's way better when you get to play with a couple of people and do some online stuff. No Man's Sky is an honorable mention. They completely redid the game this year. Like they tweaked it. What was the name of the
Next.
Next? Yeah, No Man's Sky Next, which they launched this year, and they got very, very favorable press. Like everybody loved it. Everybody enjoyed what they did to the game. I played a lot of it during the summer.
Again, this is probably the game that should have been 2 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, keep your fingers crossed for Fallout 76. It might become something like that.
Yeah, that could
Uh,
be better in 2 year in 2020.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but the changes they did to that game make the game way, way better than it was. Um, the little quests that you can do, and it doesn't feel like a chug. It doesn't feel like a chore anymore. Build your own base, and
Yep.
it's really enjoyable. I really enjoyed what they did to it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
played a ton of
I
it on PC too. I
yeah,
probably should have put it in my honorable mentions, but
yeah, I know
I don't know.
you played
I
a
fell
lot.
off. I fell off quite hard there.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I played a lot of it, and then it's kind of get to a point. It's like, okay, well, I kind of seen everything that I kind of wanted to see, but there's a little story behind the whole thing, and it's fun, but
yeah, you're like trying to find somebody
yeah,
like basically the whole time, and I never finished it. But
yeah, me neither. I just dropped off of it for a bit, but yeah, it's really good what they did to the game with Next. I think it was good on them, and well deserved praise after all the shit they got in the past couple of years. Two
yeah,
point.
but like they,
Go ahead. Go ahead. There.
yeah, but like that's the thing. Like when it first released, it got a lot of shit, and then like each with the updates they added, like it got better and better and better. Then so it did with
Yeah.
some of these new updates, and then like the tweaks they made for that. Like Next, like it is pretty much an entirely new game now compared to what it was back
Yeah.
in
Next is like
2016.
a Taken King or something like that. It's like
Yeah,
they completely revamp the game and make it something better. You see the core is still there, but there's stuff that they put in there that makes it more enjoyable and everything.
yeah. Like I did play a few hours of it though, and did like a bit of multiplayer, which is like I don't know, like the multiplayer, and it's like
Yeah, the
bare
co-op is kind
bones.
of
It's
not
just
really
there.
co-op.
I think it just put added in just for the hell of it, just because
Yeah,
people were pissed off with it, because it's nothing really to it, to be honest.
co-op is not really co-op to me. Like when we
Yeah,
played together, you had your own set of things to do, and I had my set of things to do.
yeah.
It's
I
not
just kind of
really,
wish it was like, okay, I've joined your game, so I do your stuff and help you with your stuff, and if you want to join my game, okay, you can help me with my stuff and stuff like that. But no, it just seemed to be okay. We're just in here together. We're just doing our own things. We're
yeah,
not really helping each other. That was just the gist of it, really, and
yeah.
I was just disappointing to say the least.
You were off on a planet doing your stuff, and I was on another planet doing my stuff, and it
Yeah,
doesn't really feel like a co-op game, like
yeah. Like I always prefer
per se.
to like. That's basically more of like, yeah, like if that's basically more of like, okay, that's basically like a open server like multiplayer game. Then
Yeah.
like if you're join like a server and like there's a bunch of people doing their own thing,
Hmm.
and if you do want to team up with someone, say, okay, I'm in this room now, and okay, Dennis is on here, so I'm going to join up with Dennis and help him do stuff and stuff like that. Like if it was something like that now, then that'd probably be better compared to what actually is.
Hmm.
But again, I don't know if that's been changed now since I played it though. But I don't think it has. I haven't seen
Yeah, I think the
anything.
last time I played it was in July or August or something like that. So they might have
Yeah, like the
changed.
last time I checked, I think it was just pretty much the same thing, and I never heard any. Like I think they had another update or two since like that whole next update, but in terms of like the multiplayer thing, I think it's pretty much the same.
Hmm.
as far as I can call it. Could be wrong there though.
Okay. Next up is a 2 Point Hospital, which is pretty much a hospital sim. You get to you manage your own hospital and manage the which room you should build and uh, how much staff you must hire for your hospital and build extensions to your hospital to make it more profitable and stuff like that. So it's it has a little kooky side to it. Like there are people who come in, like they're Freddie Mercury's coming in and they have like this syndrome that you have to cure and it's like they look like Freddie Mercury pretty much. And then you have other people who come in as clowns and
Do this thing. I want to break free.
no, but you don't hear they probably don't have the license for that, but because it's pretty much a like a not a low budget, but like a not a big company doing this game, so I
No,
don't
this
know.
is a bit of a joke anyway though, because they're in a
Yeah,
hospital and sometimes people just want to escape from a hospital. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty much that's what this is meant there.
yeah. I think they did a pretty good job. It gets the only thing is that it gets very repetitive. Like it's pretty much move on to this hospital, do the same thing over and over again. Build the rooms, hire your doctors, hire your nurses, hire your staff and everything, and make sure that people don't wait in line and don't wait too long because they might die, and then your hospital can become haunted, and much stuff like that. And then you can train your staff, and but it's a good progression. It teaches you the basics of the game, and then it gives you your hospital and says, okay, go, do what you want to do in this hospital, but you have to make this amount of money. You need to, meet your quota and everything, and it's a good little sim game. I was waiting for the price to drop to get it, and finally dropped. I think during the I didn't get it during the holiday sale. I think it was a little bit before that I
Was
got.
it like the autumn sale perhaps, or
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
a
think it was the
weekend
autumn
deal
sale.
or something?
Yeah, I think it was the autumn sale that I got it for a little cheaper. It didn't really drop a whole lot, but I got it for a little cheaper and played it. Enjoyed what I played of it. Uh,
Unless the game goes like maybe like at least £5 off, I'm not even gonna bother picking it up.
yeah, I think Steam doesn't really have these huge price drops anymore. Like you don't see stuff really like it was
There's games
before,
as yeah, like like I didn't really pick a whole lot up from the holiday sale maybe because I was trying to
Yeah,
buy less games, but there's like a bunch of stuff as well that doesn't even go on sale now either.
yeah,
Whereas usually before it used to be like practically every game.
yep,
But the problem as well, there's like so much games coming out in Steam now, and so much of it is shite as well that some of
yep,
those like I tend to like I see a game I like, oh, I'm just gonna add it onto my wish list now because if I'm interested in playing it, it's like okay, I'm just gonna wait in this and goes down in price or something along those lines.
yeah. Most of it
Because
is shovelware now.
that's the only reason why. That's the only reason how I can keep tracking certain games. Like, okay, this is a game I'm gonna like. It's not out yet, or I'm just gonna wait in this price drop now.
Yeah,
Because that's the only way. Because it's just so like the fuck their interface now is shite though. It is
yeah,
really crap. You scroll down to like new releases, and it's like DLC for certain games that have already out, or it's like visual novels, or junk that should not even belong on Steam,
yeah.
but
I saw
too much
movies on
Steam.
there. I saw, it's like,
Well, now that's what they've added movies and stuff like that now, but they've just had stuff there. Like it's like okay, it really shouldn't be on there. It's like just stuff. It's like just a bunch of assets. Like some people just bought on Unity or something, though, and
mm,
just put a game together and stuff like that.
yep, yeah. So it's me. I mean, not a whole lot goes on sale. It's not huge sales anymore, so you really have to wait a couple of years if you want to get a game. I think
Like Near Automata
never on sale.
is hardly never
Nope.
on sale. I think it was on sale like once.
Yep.
Like one time I seen it on a weekend. And that's a game that never goes on sale. Much like Nuclear Throne, that game by Flambeer,
Hmm.
Rami Ishmael's game, that never goes on sale.
Yep.
Never goes on sale. And that game's been out for fucking what, 3 years now, I think.
And there's
It's
some
never.
games that you
I've never seen it on sale once.
there's other games that you see all the time on sale. Like they're all
Yeah.
the time on sale. It's like, okay, well, I don't want that game, but it's constantly on sale. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird system they have now. So
Just before we go back, did you play Did you play Theme Hospital
yeah, I
back
did.
in the
Yeah,
day?
back in the day, yeah,
Okay, because
I
I
did.
know like this is done by like a few of the people who worked on the original Theme Hospital though.
Yeah, Theme Hospital and Theme Park and all those games back in the day there. Yeah, I used to enjoy them, so that's why I got that one to play. It's a little bit more quirky than Theme Hospital used to be. Like Hospital had a more serious tone to it. This is more like a quirky little thing that you can play. It makes it a little bit more enjoyable. When people die, you're like, okay, he's dead, haha. Becomes a ghost, okay. It's not that big of a deal. So, um, another game on my honorable mentions, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is on here. So one series that took a big drop from being number two last year to being in the honorable mentions this year. Um, I just started playing. Well, just started playing. I played it during the holidays. I'm maybe 18 to 20 hours in to the game, and to me, this is the least Assassin's Creed game that I've ever played. Like, I don't even know why they call it Assassin's Creed. It's really like just, okay, well, no, this is The Witcher, or it's, with a mix of Mass Effect and Middle Earth, and,
Yeah.
all sorts of
You pretty
other,
much what you said on Twitter pretty much is the case. Like that is exactly what this game is, and
like,
that's probably the reason why I'm so into it. Like
okay,
it's gonna be about top. You're gonna be hearing about this game from me though, because I don't know. I'm really into it. I've played hardly anything else but this for the past week.
hmm I don't hate it. I mean, it's still a good game, but it's the least Assassin's Creed game that I've played. And I think there's a lot of stuff that is there that kind of not overwhelming, but it's like too much.
Yeah, that's I can understand
Hmm.
that there, because I think that was one of the faults that I think some people had though. Were go what are you going to say? What are you going to say,
I,
Derek?
I no, go ahead. That's fine.
Now, that's what some people had a problem with, though. Like, I think that was one of Alex Navarro's kind of
hmm
um, cons against the game. There was just so much, though. It took him forever to finish. Like, I think it's like, 40 hours or so if you just want to go through the main game now.
Yeah.
But there is just so much stuff. Like, there is a lot of stuff you can, like, there's all these question marks on the map. Like, and this fucking game is fucking huge as well.
Yeah. And there's the
Like
bounties. When I figured out that, I used to go get the bounties on the thing. I was like, okay, I'm going to pick up these. I'm going to go do them. Until I realized it's the same fucking thing over and over again. Like, it's the same thing you keep doing. And then I
I
realized,
just I do the bounties if they're
you
like
see
close
there's a
by
time.
now. Yeah, like there's some timer ones I don't bother with them. Like I only want to do these bounty ones if they're close by, like I'm a couple of 100 meters away or something. Okay,
Yeah.
I can do this here in like a couple of minutes or something. But if they're like okay, I have to go all the way over here or something, it's like I'm not gonna even bother. And I only do the ones as well specifically if you get orichalcum. Like there's
Yeah.
like a daily bounty that gives you orichalcum, and there's like a weekly one that gives you
Yeah.
orichalcum, and you buy that to take that to was it Saigon
hmm
and then Focus,
Yeah.
and you can buy so like an epic weapon or whatever armor or legendary armor, or you can get like I think it's gift of the gods, and you get a like random
Random thing.
epic, random purple, random epic
Yeah.
gear.
Yeah, that reminds me of Diablo a little bit, but yeah. Um,
I was
it's
gonna say that I feel like the previous game had way too much to do, and like this game, I don't feel overwhelmed like I did with that game.
okay.
But it could be because I'm playing in that explorer mode where it doesn't show you like everything on the map,
Okay.
supposedly.
Yeah.
I actually switched it over to guided mode to see
Okay.
if that was the case, if all the icons popped up now, but that wasn't the case. I think if you explore, if you have a guided mode on, I think it just basically if you're doing like
It got you.
quests,
Yeah.
it like
It
goes
sh-
okay. It shows you where exactly the marker is. Whereas if you're doing explore mode like I'm doing as well, Derek, is basically you go near a point and like
It
look
says,
call
oh,
their
it's south
bird.
of this, but it's in here. It's in the middle of the map
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, even still, I guess I don't feel like overwhelmed at all. So
I think I should put it on guided because I can't find a fucking uh like not checkpoints but waypoints that you need to, I can't find them. They don't appear. So I'm like, okay, well, all of a sudden there's one here. Okay, well, I'll go climb it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I put it on guided though for like a bit maybe, and it didn't pop up though.
No?
Like not all the icons didn't show up all of a sudden. Like if you actually read what guided says, it just basically says something along the lines that sure it tells you where to go. Pretty much, that's pretty much what the gist of it is. Where explore mode, okay, we'll just give you like a understanding of where you exactly have to go in the map, but we're not going to tell you exactly where to go in the map. That's pretty much what just the difference is.
they give you some clues, and you have to figure it
Yeah.
out.
You have to figure it out yourself. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But it's
Which
not that, it's not that.
I actually kind of like that because then I feel like I may be exploring more than I normally would.
Yeah, that's
Normally I'd go straight to where the icon is.
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and it is a big world and it does look very good. So yeah, I guess
Like
it's
I'm playing on PC. Like don't have the best settings. I just put like in the GeForce like the optimized settings, and like not everything's like super high now because like this PC's 3 years old at this point,
hmm
but it still looks effing gorgeous.
yeah.
So it does, and yeah,
But
I'll be talking about it more because it's in my top 10.
yeah, uh, I just feel it's not an Assassin's Creed game to me. I think they've dropped a lot from being an Assassin's Creed game to being something else. Like in there, they call it Assassin's Creed, but it's something different now from what it was before. Um, so yeah, I mean,
Well, the thing is, Origins was completely different though to like the
yeah,
previous games.
but it still
But like
had,
the whole
you still had the hidden blade, you still had a connection to, the assassins and all that. And here you just, hey, you have the Spear of Leonidas, and this is your hidden blade for some reason now. So here you go. I don't see the whole.
I feel like maybe that'll change later in the story. Because
It could
this,
be.
to me, the game seems to be more of a slow burn. Like it's slowly introducing you
Yeah,
to
it
like
could
the
be.
world and the characters. But in the previous game,
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons why I didn't like it, is that it would just kind of threw you in. Like, okay,
hmm
here's this huge world, and here's all this stuff. Like, oh my God, there's so much stuff to do. What do I do?
Yeah.
Like this is kind of slowly introducing you to the characters. You start on that island. You're not like right in the middle of the whole world.
hmm
Don't have a boat yet. So I don't know. I just feel like that may change later.
It could change. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's still a good game. I'm still enjoying it, but it doesn't.
Where did you get to now? Do you remember where you exactly got to last?
Who, me or Derek?
Uh, you.
Me? I'm go
Yeah.
I'm going to the. I just confronted the woman, the in the village where you need to go talk to her about your mother or your father, or depending what you decided to
The
talk about.
Oracle?
The Oracle, yeah. And,
Okay.
and
Okay,
then I'm
something
going
farther
to
than you.
the like
Yeah, I'm in Athens now, so yeah.
okay. I'm going to that cave to, do the rest of the quest there.
Yeah,
So,
I was just at a party with like Socrates and all them famous Greek
okay.
politicians
Okay.
and philosophers and stuff. So that
Okay,
was
that would be
interesting.
that would be cool. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, still very very good game, but not it doesn't grab me as much as Origins did, I guess. Of course, I did play Origins from beginning to end, so maybe that's why it's a little bit more some, it's more of the same but different. But, it's
Yeah, there is different things though, whereas this has, like abilities now,
yeah,
and like the arm, like the clothes you wear in the last game were just basically cosmetic really, whereas this one you have to have, like, they went a
armor
lot
and
more into the
yeah.
whole like loot system now, Whereas in the last game, it's just mainly your weapons.
Yep,
But this time,
exactly.
it's like your weapons and your armor now, and that's like
Yep. hmm
just going further in that direction now.
That I do enjoy though, and the
Yeah,
engravings and all
I
of
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, the Graven stuff and the upgrade stuff I definitely like though. But I'll be talking more about it though later on.
I got two more to go. WWE 2K19, which I think they did a very good job this year. They're
I
getting.
actually forgot the pause. I actually forgot. And again, I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, but still half my fucking problems with that bloody reversal system.
Yeah, it's still plays. It's still bad when you play it, but I mean, and they're getting to a point where it's a little bit better. There's it's more interesting than it was previous years ago. The story mode is more of a story mode, like a real story mode, where you have a story and it's interesting and stuff like that. The whole Daniel Bryan thing is fun. Now if they could just put a GM mode in there, that would be, you know, more like Here Comes the Pain or something like that. So
But isn't it like the universe mode pretty much like is their take on GM mode nowadays anyway, isn't
yeah,
it?
but it's not
Because you're like,
it's not the same at all. You don't have money to play with, and you can do your own matches, but I mean it doesn't really you don't have grades on the shows or whatever, and that doesn't really have any repercussions on anything. So yeah, I mean they have a basis for it. They have a base. If they can build from there, I think they can make it something more fun. But I think they're getting
yeah,
there.
a lot of people prefer like that to come back on like the story creator as well.
hmm But I think they built something good here. They did something good that they can build upon and make it a better wrestling game than it was previous years ago. So
It's probably the best one I've played since 2K14 though, but that's still not saying much. I still didn't play a
yeah, it's
whole
still
lot of
not
it
great,
though.
but it's
Yeah,
it's
like the
better than it
actual
was.
gameplay, the gameplay itself, like it's fine.
hmm
I just want them to fix that fucking reversal system. I do not care what people say. They can bitch to me all they want, though. I still think that reversal system sucks.
Yeah. So you can also put unlimited reversals, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, it's not that there. It's just the timing's just so off half the time. Like half the time, I know I'm hitting at the right time, and other times it just seems completely random when you get a reversal and stuff like that.
hmm
And like some of the animations as well. Like sometimes you're like you reversed though, but okay, I got stuck or something. Like, but he reversed you and stuff like that as well. Like it's still not great, but like that system's so old at this point. The way that gameplay system is.
Yeah, and if they
Like it's,
revamp their gameplay, I think they have something good here that they
yeah,
can build upon.
I just wish to just make it more like an Aki game or
Yeah.
the like actually like the Day of Reckoning games on GameCube as well. They're actually good.
hmm Yeah. Well, they're almost there, I think. It's still you still have wrestlers that look phenomenally like really like they're human counterparts, and you have others that look like they were put through a blender and mixed mixed along. I don't know. They really don't look like they're human counterparts at all. But
Well, you definitely know that's the reason why, because some of them have been motion captured and like, and the other ones are like,
yeah,
okay, you're not gonna have like, flipping honky tonk man now look exactly like he is, because I'm sure he wasn't motion captured like some of the legends.
yeah. I
Now.
know Ultimate
Like some of
Warrior or
them
stuff
are,
like that. You can't really
yeah,
do
like they're
that.
like they're
So,
long gone now, so
yeah.
you can't have them though. But yeah, that's always been the case now, flipping forever.
hmm Yeah.
Was these wrestling games where some of them look absolutely great. Like, of course, it's going to be the main people now, like John Cena, Triple H, and like, okay, they're going to look phenomenal, but like some of your lower card guys and stuff like that, they're not going to look as good.
Yeah. Exactly. And the final game, I have to put it on here because I still play it, even if it's almost a 2-year-old game. But I still play it.
It is a 2.5-year-old game.
It is a 2.5-year-old game, yeah. But I still play it, and I still love it, and I still enjoy it. And it's Overwatch, which I absolutely need to put on here. Um, so, and there's rumors that there's a story mode coming. So, fingers crossed that
That's
actually
interesting.
happens. But yeah, there's rumors floating around that there would be a story mode coming with the 3rd anniversary of the game. So that would be, with all the shorts that they've done and all the lore that they have, I don't understand that this game doesn't have a story mode yet. You know, that's kind of
So I wonder
weird.
how is that going
Where's
to
the
work now?
battle
Like,
royale mode?
Yeah, no, I hope they don't put that in. If they can
it
leave that
wouldn't
out, that's
work.
perfect. I
That's
don't care
not,
about
they're
that.
not, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, that
So
wouldn't
it
work
wouldn't.
also. I don't think it would. Unless you're playing as soldiers and you're fighting these, you know. I don't know how that would work,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Yeah, but I wonder if that's going to be the case now. I wonder if it'll work if you just like, you know, certain mission, it's just like a mission you play as this character and then the next mission you play as this other character, I wonder.
yeah, or these
Like, I'm sure
bunch of
that'll,
characters you switch between them, you know.
yeah, like you just do one mission as say it's Symmetra and then the next mission you play as like Junkrat or whatnot.
Yeah,
Sure, that'll be the case now because I'm sure you'll just get sick of playing like, you know, three
same.
missions
Yeah,
with, you know,
you play as Tracer the
episode
entire
76 now.
time.
Yeah.
No, I think they probably would do seasons or something like that, or you know, like episodic or maybe something like that. But I would love to see a story mode in this game, so I hope that becomes a reality, but we'll see along the way. But yeah, still fantastic. I am almost level 300 now, so going for that 3rd star, almost there. I'm 99, so almost have it. So yeah, still absolutely love this game. Even if I lose, I still love it. I still adore every part of
Even
it.
even if you rage quit sometimes.
No, I don't rage quit. I try not to rage quit anymore because it affects your standing, and you lose a level if you rage quit too much now. Like
Well, you don't really do that. What you don't do, I think you might have done it like maybe once or twice. So like last year,
yeah,
like
when
you
it
didn't do
becomes
this often,
too
but
intense,
yeah,
I kind of do it. But yeah, I don't.
like I actually rage quit once. I think it was one time last year though because I was just stuck with this absolutely useless team. I just wanted to get out of there because I couldn't flip and take it anymore either.
When I have a useless team now, I just pick a character that I never play as and go in there and just die constantly. But I get to play as that character, so it's a thing I do now. But yeah, still fantastic. I won't be bothering you guys too much with more of that, but my favorite game of this generation, bar none. So that's pretty much it.
It's my second favorite after Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Right, finally, we're more than an hour in and we're finally getting into our top 10s.
Finally going.
Yeah, I think that's been the longest ever since we've started doing these Give the Year podcasts. So anyway, let's get going here. My number 10 is another game from this developer that a lot of people tend to shit on. It came out in May. It is one of those kind of, I'll say, maybe interactive adventure games, I guess you could say. No. Talk about Detroit Become Human. It's the next game by Quantum Dream. It tend to be like a game. Isn't it like more of an interactive adventure game, I could guess you could say, in a way, with a lot of QTEs, QT prompts, button presses, and the like.
Yeah, Derek loves
pretty
those.
much,
So that's right up his alley.
This is anti-Derek game pretty much, who will stay far away from these games. I know people hate these games. I know people hate the way David Cage writes and stuff like that, the way he writes stories and stuff like that, and I can understand that.
It's very mushy and it's very
yeah, it's all like very
finger pointing and
yeah, like I can understand that. I'm not saying like they're wrong or anything like that there, but the thing is, I like these games. I've played Heavy Rain. I liked Heavy Rain. I liked Beyond Two Souls. I like this one. I just enjoy playing these games, and sure enough, there is some sort of hokey stuff, I guess. Yeah, but I still enjoy the journey, though. Like I still enjoy like the choices you make. The thing I like about this one in particular is like the whole flow chart system, the chart system, where after you complete a certain chapter, it basically sort of goes through. Okay, you pick this route, and it sort of tells you what percentage of the audience that played the game and went done this right and stuff like that there now, and I like that there. It's a lot more goes a lot more in that direction now, as opposed to like the other previous games where it had, you know, branching paths, but this is like the more fully fledged of that now, where you could pretty much have a completely different ending, like a really completely different ending to someone else, where you could have an ending that every single one of your main characters dies, or one that can, like, you know, survive and get through and get like sort of the best ending, which I got as well.
So it's
which
like
I got
Until Dawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep,
pretty much like Until Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Like Until Dawn, people consider to be this this kind of game done right.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I can see that because it was well done.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest though, I kind of wish I put that in my top 10.
Yeah, I played it with my nephew, and I really like that game.
Like, I kind of wish I put it in my top 10 back in 2015, because that was like the year I was like, okay. I kind of was having a hard time filling out my top 10 back then.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, like, that should have put that in my top 10. It was in my honourable mentions, I believe. But yeah, this one is set in Detroit. Duh.
Yeah.
In, I think, 2030, in the 2030s sometimes. I think it's 2030.
Is it 32? 2032?
I think it is. It's in the 2030s, so
Mm-hmm.
I know that now. And it's basically, you play as 3 different characters. You play as Kara,
Marcus.
you play as Marcus, and you play as Connor. And they are all androids. So they are.
Mm-hmm.
Kara is this android who's basically there to help this father and daughter. She's basically like a housekeeper, pretty much. Marcus is one who takes care of this old fella who is this like painter who's played by Lance Henriksen.
A little bit more caretaker.
Caretaker, pretty much, yeah. And Connor is I forget the actual he's investigator. I forget the actual agency that he's part of now. I forget.
Oh man,
he's basically called CyberLife.
Yep.
Good job, thanks, Dennis. CyberLife, who's basically called in to help this cop called Hank, who's he's a bit anti-androids, so he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you learn more about him now, so you do, as the story goes along, and you pretty much are investigating like these deaths that are linked to androids that are gone deviant, which pretty much means they've like break from their they're pretty much gone rogue, pretty much per se.
Mm-hmm.
And they're basically being living themselves. There's not part of being part of like an owner anymore and stuff like that. And that's like this whole system, like androids do have like free will and stuff like that. That's like the whole sort of overarching story in this game, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And like you go between each of the 3 characters, and some of the characters have like this system where if you pick the right response, they either like their mood goes up towards you or it goes down. Whereas like, say for example, if you're really rude to Hank all the time, or like you just shout at him and stuff like that, pick like really negative responses towards him, his mood goes down to like angry at you and just like really frustrated or whatever.
Yeah, a little bit like Telltale games, a little bit.
Yeah, it's like kind of like Telltale games, exactly, something along those lines. And there's a point in the game where if you got him down to that point, he could basically like shoot you and kill Connor. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, he comes back because there's actually a trophy in the game where if you get the trophy if you kill Connor in every situation that he can be killed in, which I did because I actually got the platinum in this game. I didn't do that in my first playthrough now, but I went back and did it though. Well, I just went through the different scenarios that he can get. Like he can, when he's chasing Kara and oh god, what's the name of the girl, the daughter?
I don't remember.
I forgot her name.
Emily? No, not Emily.
No, I fucking forgot her. I forget her name. Unfortunately, I forget because it's only been a few months since I played this game though. And I should remember though, but I can't remember everything now. But Kara is like an android, takes care of the thing, but she escapes from him because he's this abusive father. It's basically domestic disturbance. Like he basically is sort of like shouting at the daughter, and
it's Alice.
Shouting at Alice, that's it. Thank you.
Like Alice in Wonderland.
Shouting at Kara and stuff like that. And actually, the way you're introduced to Kara is he's bringing her home from the store, because you can see in the first person perspective, it's her, and then you take her home, and because they think they basically had her repaired because of an accident per se, which he probably caused, pretty much like probably damaged her enough and stuff like that. And they escape from him, and they have their own story, and they try to, and then Marcus has his own story where he is free. He pretty much, something happens to his taker, and he is kind of say accused by his son. Like something happens between like the taker, the owner, the painter's son, and him, and he's in the middle of it, and he gets sort of accused, and he gets thrown in the sort of, let's just say, garbage kind of wasteland, I guess, like android graveyard, and you have to sort of crawl and pick up, like, these different parts and stuff like that, and then recover him and make him whole again and stuff like that. I like the story though. Like some of it is like hokey parts, and like, yeah, I can understand people hate the story, hate the characters and stuff like that.
I found it way too preachy. Like it's just preaching to you. It's like, okay, well, this.
Yeah,
is...
like I can understand that. Like, okay, we're androids, we have.
It's racism, like reversed.
Yeah, it's racism. Yeah, basically, yeah, like racism, stuff like that. There, like free androids, we have free will. We should have the same rights as humans. We should have equality and stuff like that. Like stuff like that. Yeah, I can understand that. Like, I'm not faulting anyone. I like the journey per se anyway. Like the story's like all right for what it is, but I do enjoy playing these games because I like games with QTs and stuff like that. I've always accused it, but yeah, I still enjoy it though. I still enjoy these games. I do probably hope that, like, this game sold, I think, 2 million copies, and people are probably speculating, how the fuck did they sell 2 million copies? But people like this game. I didn't buy it, now I rented it, and I got the platinum for it.
Yeah.
So I did.
I heard everybody hated that game.
I didn't like it at all. So.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I heard everybody hated it. So.
Yeah, that's and like, I was on the Jam Bomb when they went through, the different games that played throughout the year, and I pretty much went to it and just pretty much shat on it. Like, I always said, it's stupid, but I still like playing through this though. It's like, stupid entertainment, I guess, which I kind of guess, but
yeah, but guess what? I figured out Giant Bomb's not a reference anymore.
Yeah.
Tetris Effect #1 game of the year. Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm still, this I don't understand. Like, yeah, Tetris Ferrets are their game of the year, but still a 30-year-old game with
enhanced
visual
graphics
skins and audio skins and stuff like that. That's pretty much what that game is. Sure.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've never really agreed with much of their game of the year. Well, their last few game of the years for sure.
Yep.
But anyway, back to Detroit. I got the best end where everyone sort of survived. But I went back and did like the various different things where there's a point in the game where Kara can actually die, but she's in this house and she get caught by this guy and shot by this guy who's supposedly taking androids in for refuge, but clearly he actually isn't.
Yeah. Very clearly.
Yeah. And the main thing is all about androids trying to get to Jericho. These androids become deviant, sort of. It's a sort of refuge for androids that, like, trying to escape, and deviant androids, and they're going to rise up, and you could do either like a peaceful protest and just go around and say equality and stuff like that, or you can basically
be an asshole, or
be an asshole, or attack the police and stuff like that. Now, and your choices there as well.
Yeah.
So it's basically all about that stuff though. It's like very similar, as I said, to previous Quantic Dream games, but a lot more fully fledged in the whole choices and
You know,
moral
I like
stuff.
watching
And
people play that game more than playing it myself. Like
did you watch Austin
I
Creed's?
watched Austin Creed play it. I watched our very own Jimbo Logan play it, and you know, I think I enjoyed watching people play that game more than playing it myself, which is, you know, something. I I don't like QTEs that much. I don't really, you know, I mean, I'm not completely against them, but I don't really like them. And at one point, it's so quick, like they come at you so fast. It's like, okay, well, one of my characters died because of that. I didn't have time to react. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? He's dead because I didn't, you know, Connor died because I didn't have time to react to one of the
Oh, I would
QTEs.
love that game.
Yeah, you would absolutely love that game. So, I mean, that I was like, okay, well, and every single person, well, every single main person in my game died. So, you know, that's a ton of fun when that happens.
Just because of QTEs.
No, well, Connor died just because of QTEs. The other ones, I made bad decisions, and I had them killed. But yeah, it's
Did you purposely kill any of them, or was it all accidental?
no, not purposely. Purposefully,
Okay.
like one of them, Marcus, I made a wrong decision, and I had him shot. And Kara just died because I crossed the river, and she died of cold. So
Yeah, like he chose like there's a certain point in that there where
if
you're
you don't
trying to
meet
escape to
somebody at
Canada.
some place at some time,
Yeah,
you,
like you're trying to get to Canada. She's
yeah,
trying to get away and go up to Canada because that's like this black woman. I forget her name. Sort of helps her just okay get up to
yeah,
Canada
there are
and
no laws
escape.
for androids in
Yeah,
Canada.
no laws for androids really up there now, and you have to. There's a certain thing you have to actually take a ticket and not give it back to this couple who are trying to get up there
Which I
and
didn't
then go
do.
on the bus. Yeah,
I
and
gave
if
it
you don't
back.
do that now, yeah, if you don't do that, then that's pretty much the gist of okay, that character dies in.
Yeah, and you don't know until she fucking dies. So I was like, oh, great. Okay, well, this
Yeah,
is
but
fantastic.
that's the only point on the other one as well where mentioned earlier that I think they're the only 2 points in the game that she can actually die because if you get caught by the guy in that house and get shot at, that's pretty much it for her. You could just play through the rest of the game as just Marcus and Connor then,
Hmm.
and all her stuff's like cut out then.
Yeah, it's my least enjoyable David Cage game for sure. Like, it's my least enjoyed. I didn't like that one at all compared to the others. So,
Mm. I still like it though. I don't know. I probably was. This might be my favorite though. Maybe the journey itself, but I probably like the other ones more in terms of story.
hmm
So it did.
yeah,
But yeah, I still like these games though. They're not to everyone's they're not everyone's cup of tea though. But
yeah,
I still enjoy them for what they are. Like in terms of like story and things like that, maybe not so much. But like the actual I like the gameplay as silly as it is, but I do like the investigating and stuff like that with Connor and
hmm
I like that whole system where you go around
yeah. That
investigating
wasn't bad.
clues and
That
stuff.
wasn't bad. Yeah,
Like Connor's parts were probably like the best.
yeah.
Some of the parts in the game now, and I like the I just definitely liked probably his is like his thread probably the best.
hmm
But yeah, I've rambled on long enough. So anyway, Derek, you're number 10.
My number 10, we started talking about already. I was not going to buy this game, but I saw that there was this program or like this beta test of this service from Google called Project Stream. I think that's what it is, Project Stream, not Steam.
hmm
And it's like a streaming service for video games on your browser. So like you're actually just using your Chrome browser
Wow.
and
Okay.
you have a tab open and then you just play a game like a full console game in a tab in Chrome, which is crazy. And
I
that
think
is
Bastion did that a few years back as well. You could be able to play that game on browser. So I believe as well. So I know it's not the first game. Like I know there's games before you could. Yeah, but I remember Bastion. I believe they said that was you can play that in the browser now as well. And there's a few other games though. But like this is like a fully fledged AAA game you can play on the browser, which is like
insane,
ridiculous.
Yep. So in that game is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and the nice thing is that so they didn't allow it for everybody. Like you had to like apply, and then only so many people got in.
It's solely US,
and it was only US.
As well.
Yeah, it was only US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I would have done it myself.
Well, yeah, there's like almost no reason not to. The nice thing is if as long as you play, I think it's like an hour or two.
Yeah.
During the beta test period, which was I don't know beginning or middle December up until January 15th, then you'll get a free full copy of the game on Uplay.
Wow.
After that.
That's great.
Which is really cool. And then they also gave us $10 of like that premium currency.
The Helix.
Yeah,
that you have. I think it's 1,000 points. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had to use it. Then you can't like save it for the full game.
Okay. Yeah.
So I bought. There's this armor set that's kind of like the shining like white colored armor. And then like the helmet is kind of like a Spartan helmet with like the big frill in the middle. I don't know if you looked at the store. You may have seen it, but I thought it was kind of cool looking.
Yeah, I've seen some of them look cool. The one I want to get though is the fucking Hades one. It looks awesome to me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I bought this one because I like there's a set bonus. So if you buy all 5 or if you have all 5 of the set, then you get an extra ability. And then this one was 200% adrenaline on like a perfect dodge. So I said, oh, that sounded kind of cool. So I got
that is very good.
Yeah, so that's why I got that one. And then I had enough to buy a weapon, so I bought a sword as well.
Okay.
So anyway, I've been playing that game for about 20 hours on the streaming service, and it works really well. I haven't seen it running on my PC for real, like using my PC hardware. So I don't know for sure how it looks in comparison, but it looks pretty good, and the frame rate was very good as well. It wasn't like choppy or anything.
Yeah, it's all server side when you played it on the browser, right? It's like
it's not using my video card or anything. Like normally when I play a game on my PC, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Just working harder, and this like it feels like it's not even doing anything.
That's great.
So it's pretty cool. The reason I stopped is because I want to see what the real game is like, using my hardware, and I don't want to have to be using so much bandwidth. Just because if I want to stream something at the same time, or like my wife is streaming, I don't want to mess up any of that. I did notice. I know she was streaming once, and then like the image quality dipped a bit on the game when I was playing it. So that probably wouldn't be an issue if you have crazy like gigabit Ethernet kind of thing, but I think I have somewhere in the range of 100 download or so megabits.
Okay.
Do you have a bandwidth limit? Like, do you have like a download limit?
I think there is, but it's like huge. It's like 500 gigs or something.
Okay.
I usually don't even look at it because I've never gotten close to actually meeting that. So anyway, it worked really well, and if that becomes a regular thing, like depending on how much their service is, if you wanted to just try a game, almost like renting a game, I would say it's worth giving it a shot.
Yeah, that's really good.
I know PlayStation has their own service like that, and I think Xbox does too. But I think the prices were kind of crazy on those. Like the PS Now and then whatever the Xbox One is.
No, Xbox is Game Pass. You just download them. That's pretty much
okay. So it's not streaming then. All right.
No, they don't have streaming now, but they'll be PS Now has there. Yeah, but you actually can download them now. I think you can download PS2 and PS4 games.
Mm-hmm.
So you can now. So
yeah, but PS Now is not that great. I tried it.
That's what the thing is.
I have a good internet, and it's not really. Still a little pixelated and everything, so it's not that fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah, but like you can download those games now if you
yeah,
want to.
that's
Just
really
like
cool.
it's just PS4 and PS2 though. Like the ones that are part on the PS4, store.
Hmm.
You can download them now. It's pretty much I think they're trying to do contend with Xbox Game Pass, but the problem is Xbox Game Pass is cheaper, and also you can some games are like new, very new as well.
Yeah,
I don't know what the most
Yeah.
up to date game is
come
on
out
the
on Game
PS
Pass
now.
directly. Yeah.
Yeah, like that big Year Zero game came out on Game Pass, and
yeah.
games like Below and Ashen as well. Which like that's actually quite enticing for me to actually set up my um Xbox One again just to play some of those games because that's enticing. But the fact is, I haven't hooked it up in 2.5 years.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the game itself, I'm playing as Alexios, which is the male character. You can choose the
Okay.
female character too.
I'm playing
I
as Cassandra.
Yeah, me too.
I'm assuming that it's the same story, no matter what character you pick.
Yeah,
In
I think it
that,
is.
if you're the Cassandra, then your Alexios is like the villain. Maybe
Yeah,
not. I don't know.
probably. Yeah, I think it's
Okay,
reversed. If you play as the girl, the guy is the villain. And I read that
or at least.
somewhere online. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just gonna say like spoiler there, Derek.
Well, I don't know for sure how it's going to end up at the end, but that seems to be the case,
Yeah.
at the moment. I haven't finished it. I'm about 20 hours in. Like I mentioned, the main story quest I did was like this party at uh, some politician's house, and where like some of the famous Greek uh, figures from history, like Socrates was there, and a bunch of other ones that I can't pronounce. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
And when he first showed up, I was immediately reminded of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey because that. Uh, well, actually, no. Was he in the first one, Excellent Adventure, or was he in the second one?
Well, no, Excellent
Or is it?
Adventure is the one. I think it's the Excellent Adventure because that's the one that goes back
Yeah,
in
what they
time to
call it?
get all the
Oak Ridge.
historical
Yeah.
Yep,
figures.
yep, right, right. Um, but anyway, I really like the game so far. I like how, like I mentioned earlier, it's like it feels to me like a slower burn. Like you're introduced to the characters in the world at a like the pacing is better, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, which I like. Like it doesn't kind of throw you in like I felt like the last game did, Origins. I felt like that threw me in the game, and I just like the world felt so much bigger and it felt way more dense than this game does. Like there were just so many NPCs all around. It just in the world, like the world felt like overpopulated. I don't know. It just kind of overwhelmed me.
Hmm.
But
Like that's the good thing.
this game
That's a
doesn't.
good. Yeah, that's a good thing. Like you said earlier, it's a good thing. It starts off with you're just in that island. So you do like this little wee sort of small island though, but then you can travel onwards. Then whereas like you said, when you start in like all previous games, you're just stuck in the middle of a big city or like Egypt or for example, and you're just like okay, I'm kind of overwhelmed here by icons and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, continue.
Um, yeah, and I like the story so far. I think Alexios is, at least to me, he's a more likable character than the last. What was it? Bayek, I think was his name.
Back.
For whatever reason, I feel like Alexios is more likable. But you guys aren't even playing as him, so um,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah.
So
I think it doesn't really matter though anyway who you pick
Yeah, I
because I
think they
think
have
it's
the
not.
same like
It's
characteristics.
just pretty much the dialogue, the same characters and stuff like that. There, it's just I think this is the only difference is like
well, it's a different voice
Demos.
actor, right? It's not the same
Yeah,
voice
yeah,
actor.
it's yeah.
But sure,
Part
like the
of it.
dialogue and all that stuff's pretty much the same anyway though for the most part. It's just like like the actual dialogue they say now. But it's different actors of course, but like the dialogue's the same, and the only difference is like the whoever Demos is whoever you didn't pick for the as your character.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm hunting down the cult as I can. Um, but I kind of just stopped because I wanted to try the full game on my piece of hardware. Otherwise, I would have continued for sure. So, and I hope that it doesn't take too long for the free copy to be awarded, because I want to get back to it.
Okay, you haven't gotten yet. You're waiting for.
Well, you have until the 15th to play your 1 hour or 1 or 2 hours, and then after that is when you get the free one. I just don't know how soon after the 15th they'll
Okay.
give it to people.
Okay.
Yeah, and Darren was mentioning the other day that there's like this quest line where you actually get to fight some famous like mythical creatures and stuff
Mm-hmm.
from mythology, which that would be really cool. There is a quest line for Artemis, or like this cult of
Yeah, the
Artemis or
daughters.
whatever.
Yeah, the daughters of Artemis. Yeah,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you go around and fight these like big creature, like these
Mythical
different
creatures,
creatures.
Yeah, you're hunting like a really large boar or a huge deer or a big
Oh,
lion.
fuck that fucking board to death.
Yeah,
bro.
fuck that guy.
God,
That guy.
That was
I
fucking-
always
it was
a
tough.
Fucking pain in the ass
Yeah.
to fight.
He's really.
And what,
good
like,
for it.
it wouldn't have been so bad if you just had to fight it. It's just when it brings,
Yeah, he brings in the little
other
boars.
boars and just trying to fucking keep your eyes on all of them.
Yep.
So that's half the time I got killed. Just a stupid boar just came and charged me.
Yeah, the first time I did it, I tried to face just the boss or like the main boar, just ignored all the other ones, and then I died. And then the second time, anytime the little ones came, I ignored the boss completely and I went for them and took them out first.
Yeah,
And that worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do a few times though to beat that boss. And then the next one I did was the hind, the deer one. Hind
Yeah,
of
me too. That
Eris,
was super
which
easy.
was, yeah, it just took me a while to beat though, but it was fucking piss compared to that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next one I can do now is the Nemean lion.
Yeah, me too.
But I
I was
haven't
like, that sounds
across
like
it
it'll be
yet.
really tough. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
so one thing I like is how you can spec in like 3 different areas in like the combat and the abilities. You can either be a hunter or a warrior or like an assassin. Hunter uses the bow, warrior uses like, swords or axes or whatever, and then assassin uses kind of like stealth and speed attacks. I win assassin, like total assassin,
Yeah,
and
me
that's
too.
been pretty cool for me.
Yep.
There's an ability where you can throw the spear,
Yep.
almost like it's an arrow, and then like you warp to it.
Yep.
I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, that's really
a great
cool.
ability.
And it seems like I guess for me, it feels like the bow is weaker in this game, but in the previous game, like it felt like super powerful.
Yeah, it is
I don't
weak
know if
in
that's-
this one. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I didn't spec in Hunter or if it's just the way the game is.
It is very weak.
But
I'm kind of balancing out though. Like, I actually found the hunter to be quite useful in certain times where I use this like, build I think it's called the predator shot, where you zoom in first person, and then once you fire the bow and hold like the thing, it goes into like the arrow view, like like that Sniper Elite game.
Yeah,
where
they
it
get
shows,
the
like,
bullet view. Yeah.
like the bullet thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just that arrow, you could like direct it and get headshots, you get like more damage to it. I actually found that's really helped me a lot though against certain enemies, and especially like, tougher enemies and mercenaries and stuff like that.
So for me, I'm pretty much fully going assassin. Like all my abilities are going into assassin, unless there's something I don't really want. Then I'll put it in like another class. But yeah, the bow, I pretty much don't even use it at all. Like even though I
me
do
neither.
have a couple of abilities, it's just it doesn't kill him in one hit. So I'm like, I just ignore it and I
Yep.
do stealth
agree.
attacks. So, yeah, I don't know. I like the game quite a bit, and I look forward to trying the game on my actual hardware just to see how it runs.
Mhm.
Like
That looks good. Okay, Dennis. And what is your number 10?
Yeah, I'm gonna go completely. I'm pretty sure none of you guys have played this game. My number 10 is House Flipper.
I was actually going to say that it was going to be your number 10.
You were gonna say House Flipper? Okay.
Yeah, because I know you played some of it and actually liked it.
Yeah, I played a decent chunk of that game. It's a very low budget like an indie game that you can get. Like I saw the quick look for it, and I saw a couple of people play it. I was like, this looks okay. This looks interesting. It's a very relaxing game. Like you're a contractor and you get some contracts from people to start with. Like they'll tell you, okay, go to my house and clean up clean my house. So you pick up the garbage, you wipe the floors and everything, kill cockroach nests and stuff like that.
So you're not the person actually flipping the house. You're just a contractor.
To start off, you're just like a contractor.
Oh, so it changes. Okay.
Yeah,
Just to like to renovate the house and that there for
yeah,
to put
exactly.
that for
Then
sale, isn't it?
they introduce you slowly, like you just pick up the garbage to start off with. Then you start painting the walls, and like putting ceramic on the floors and stuff like that. And it gradually moves you into, okay, rearrange this room. Like I want this in here, I don't want this in here, and stuff like that. And this builds you up. Like these contracts are pretty much tutorial to build you up to flipping an entire house.
Okay.
Like with the money you get, you buy a house, which you need to flip. You need to renovate the entire house, and depending on what you put in it, depending on the colors and everything, then you put the house on the market, and then people will bid on your house. Like say, okay, I'll bid like 900,000, or I'll bid 700,000, and you decide to who you want to sell the house, and then you move on to another house and you buy it and you flip it again. You can. Some people will tell you, okay, I would like to have a house with, like a fireplace in it, or I'd like a house with a blue room, or I'd like a house with, this type of furniture in it and this type of thing in it. And then you go when you build the house, you flip the house, depending on what they want. Like if this person is giving you more money for this type of house, you'll flip it so it can be to this person's liking and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's it looks on the surface it looks like a very basic, very like a regular game, but once you dig into it, it's pretty fun when you start flipping entire houses and building something for somebody to enjoy and somebody to buy into it. I think it's fun. It's very relaxing. Like it's not stressful at all. You don't have any stress while you're playing this game. You just can listen to a podcast or can listen to something else while you play it, or watch a movie or something. It's not really something that's stressful. It's relaxing. It's fun, and I really got into.
You don't like have like a you don't have like a time limit or anything like that now, do you?
You have zero time limit. Like you don't really have any time. You have a cash limit, because everything when you start flipping houses, because when you do the contracts, they give you money for you to buy. Let's say they say, okay, I want a new couch, or I want a new whatever. Then you take their money and you buy it for them. But once you start flipping the houses, it's your money that you're putting into the house and into flipping the house and everything. So
Yeah, and try to get like a profit.
yeah, exactly. So you have to balance things out. And am I gonna get a profit from this? Am I gonna lose money? What's gonna happen with this? So it becomes more of a in the beginning it's like, okay, this is fun, and then it becomes more of a thinking game of, okay, what can I do here so to attract this type of buyer, and I don't have to pay too much for it, and stuff like that. And it becomes like a little bit of a money game in some ways. So it's really good. I thought it was a really, really enjoyable game. It's a fun game. I don't. It's not a very taxing game. Like it barely takes any CPU or GPU. Like it's very, very even on the highest settings and everything. It doesn't look like a AAA game. I mean, it's like just this regular looking game, but it's really fun to go around and flip houses, and once you sell it at a profit, you feel like, oh, this is great, I made a profit on it, and then you go buy another house and flip that house, and then the more money you make, the bigger the houses become that you have to flip, and then you're flipping mansions and you're flipping stuff like that. So it's a fun game. I really dug it a whole lot. So if it goes on sale, I recommend you guys check it out. I think I saw it at like at $5, something like that, during the holiday sale or something like that. So
I think you talked about it in the last episode, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you?
yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did mention.
I think you may have just started it or something.
Yeah, I did mention it, and I really like it. I really enjoyed that game a whole lot. It's really a random game to put on a top 10, but yeah, I had a good time with it. So
No, I think a few people. I think there's a few people I know. Like, well, I think some people on the Jam Bomb guest list had it in their top 10 or like talked about it as well. So they did and enjoyed it. So it's not one of those like completely unknown games now.
like they're going to make some money off of this game, and because there's going to be a second game, you know they're going to make a sequel to this. So and it's going to be bigger. It's going to have better graphics and everything, and more stuff in it. So I'm going to keep an eye on it for sure. But yeah, I enjoyed House.
It's just weird someone hasn't done this before now, or like
Yeah,
you might have done it. I don't know, but like never heard about it though.
like
Until
it's
now.
a very original idea. Like it's very, very original, and that's what I like about this game. Like you don't see like 7 million types of house flipping games out there.
No.
Like, it's just one.
No, but there's like 7 million TV shows about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah.
One game, 7 million TV shows.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I enjoy it. I like it a whole bunch. So that's my number 10. It is here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. Probably should have gotten on the Steam sale, but if it ever's on sale again, I'm gonna check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, thank you, Dennis. My number 9 is the game that got Destiny 2 Forsaken knocked off the top 10 list because I was contemplating between this and Destiny 2. I decided to go with this. Although this is a game I only got last month as well. But I've only really played the main story mode in it, or like the main like adventure mode per se in it. I have not played the online. I don't really care. It's a game. It's Nintendo's sort of big holiday game that came out this year, and that is of course Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. I did play some of that.
The main reason why why is that? Sorry.
I did play some of that during the holidays. My nephew has it, so I did play some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said I bought this or something.
No, I didn't. Buy
Yeah,
it, no.
I was like, what?
No.
The main reason I wasn't really considering getting this game before I came, but then I was like looking at the spirits mode, the World of Light mode. It's like, I really like the look of this. Like you're on this like big, really huge map, and this lovely, water, like this really handcraft like painting, kind of like these different areas. It looked pretty cool. It's like this whole like board pretty much per se, and you go to these different areas and fight these various different spirits that are let's just like the story. The gist of this story is like this big being, I think his name's Garlean or something, pretty much destroys or takes all of the Smash Brothers in the game but are Kirby. And then it's up to Kirby to go around and rescue his friends, the other fighters in the game. And then you go through certain areas, unlock more and more fighters, and they're basically unlocked then for you to use in that mode. And if you unlock them in this mode specifically, you unlock them everywhere as well. But it's not the other way around. Where say if you fought a challenger and say, okay, I fought Simon Belmont, I unlocked him now in like this normal Smash mode. I haven't unlocked him to play in Spirits mode because you have to unlock him in that main mode himself. You have to come across him in the actual map itself in order to play as him in World of Light. I'm probably about I'm probably about halfway through it though at the moment. I've not actually finished it, but I'm just having such a blast playing through it because I really love the mission mode in Soul Calibur, where you did these different fights, and some of the fights had like these different requisites or like prerequisites sometimes. Like, for example, you might have fight an enemy in the game in Soul Calibur and your health was draining or something along those lines. And it's also like the combat tower in Mortal Kombat 9, where you have certain things, requisites of that as well, where okay, I have to fight an enemy, but the fact is I'm losing health or I do less damage and stuff like that. And this one here is like, okay, I'm fighting this spirit now, and it's all these different spirits that takes a form of a certain character in the game. Like, okay, it might be Luigi, but it's actually takes the form of, say, like a certain character from Nintendo or like a random character, and it has its like sort of attributes per se, or like a certain Pokemon that's not in the game. It takes their attributes per se as well. It's pretty cool, and you do those battles, and some of them might be okay. The floor is electrified, or it's like a certain point your controls get reversed, like right is left and left is right, or okay, like there's a strong wind, or it's easy for you to launch, or your enemy's giant and stuff like that. Just like different sort of little fights like that. And I love them, and I love that kind of thing in Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat. And that's the main reason why I really like this mode. And sometimes you come across other fighters, so you do, and then once you beat them, you unlock them. I've locked a good chunk of them already though. But the main one I tend to use, who's been basically helped me a lot, is Little Mac. He's been very helpful. So he has throughout the whole Fetcher mode, is throughout the whole World of Light, and saved me and got me through a lot of the tougher battles. And the thing as well, it's not just like collect these different spirits now just for, like, cosmetic purposes, because they actually help you though. Like certain some of these you attack on these spirits onto your real character. Like you could have an M Bison, for example, or Chun-Li, or someone from, say, Donkey Kong Country. Like you have like Espresso from Donkey Kong Country, or something Pokemon, or a random cat. You like have the boss from Metal Gear Solid. Just so many different various characters, or like a character from Earthbound, or some random obscure Nintendo game or something along those lines. Now it's like a lot of sort of good reference and sort of good nostalgia in this game for that kind of stuff there, if you're into that sort of thing. And they help you sort of power up, because there's certain spirits you fight and they have like a certain power level, and you have to fight, like, say a certain one might have, this spirit you fight, it has like 9800. So you have to sort of have something along those lines, like, or a bit under it, to sort of have a sort of chance, but you don't really need to be exactly like it there. And you level up your spirits by using them in fights, and also there's certain spirits, support spirits, that help you, like, say, that, for example, like I mentioned earlier, like the floor is electrified, I can use this spirit there, or I'm immune from getting shocked by the electric floor, therefore I could just do this fight as normal, and stuff like that now. And I really do just love this mode though. It's very enjoyable though. Some of the fights are annoying, some of the there's like boss battles as well. Like you fight these like boss battles. Like there's one against like Gigabyzer, and some of these like other ones you come across throughout the sort of story mode itself. Like these areas, it's pretty cool. One of the like two little areas you go, like there's like these little like portals, I guess, that leads you to this like other area in the map. One of them is actually like Street Fighter, where you go from one area to the next, like like the plane. When you get to the next battle in Street Fighter 2, you do that in the plane. And also there's one of them where it's the first like world in Donkey Kong Country, the actual map itself. You go through it and do different battles, which is pretty cool as well. And just things like that. Now, like, if you played Super Smash Brothers, you pretty much know the main gist of the game in terms of like the main mechanics. So you use like the A button to do your smash attacks, you do the B button to do your special attacks. Each of them have their own special attacks, and like their final smash, which is like their ultimate attack and stuff like that. So I don't really need to talk much more about that. I just want to talk more about this spirit mode, and I really do enjoy it though, and that's why it's my number 9. How much did you play of it, Dennis?
Not a whole lot. Well, I played naturally the brawl mode with my nephew and a couple of other people during the holidays, and I played a little bit of the mode you were talking about there. Like he was pretty far into it. Like it was fighting Solid Snake, and I think if you beat Solid Snake, I beat Solid Snake and got not Captain, what's his name? That guy that talks to him on the thing there.
Oh, Roy Campbell,
Roy Campbell, yeah. So you got Roy Campbell as a I guess it's
a spirit or
spirit,
like a
yeah.
support spirit, doesn't it? Yeah, like I thought, like I got the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3 as a spirit, and she's like, it's like you fight Zero Suit Samus and does like these special attack, like kick attacks, because that's what she kind of did in Metal Gear Solid 3. Like she kicks the shit out of his boss, like the naked snake in that game. So it's like that's the thing I like about it. Like they're not gonna have the actual character, but the way you fight the certain characters, like they have their kind of attributes, so they do, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. That's one of the things I really like about this.
Yeah, for what I played of it, it's not bad. Like it's not my cup of tea necessarily, but it's not a bad game. It looks very good. It's a very good
Because
looking
this is
game.
like the first Smash Brothers game you've played now, isn't it?
Well, I played
You play.
some other Smash Brother
Oh,
games,
okay.
but
I thought.
just the Smash part of it, not nothing of a single player campaign type of thing.
Which one did you play? Did you play Melee and Brawl, or
Yeah, Melee
the
and
one on
Brawl,
the
yeah.
Wii U?
Yeah, the ones my nephew
Okay.
had, so we
Okay.
played some of those, but yeah, not really my cup of tea, to be honest.
Oh, well, not for everyone now. I played every single one. This is like I played this a lot more than I did the one on the Wii U, which I played probably like a couple of hours of and just didn't bother. Mainly because the fact is it didn't have a really an adventure mode, which sucked because that was one of the things I really liked about Brawl. The subspace emissary mode was great in it, and I really like this mode in this here. That's fourth. I got it, and I've been playing it on and off for the last month or so. So yeah, that's my number 9. So Derek, go ahead.
Okay. My number 9 we talked about already, and that game is Dead Cells. I didn't get I've never gotten as far as you have, Darren. I never got to the final boss. But I did have one run that I felt like I was gonna make it to the end because I was doing really well, and like I just felt like I was destroying everything. But then I got to
That was the run I sort of had when I got to the final boss. But like I said, I only got to it once, so I didn't play a whole lot of runs after that though. But that was like the run. It's like, oh, I'm so good. I got great weapons, and then got to that boss, and for some reason just got wiped.
I got to an elite enemy that I thought I could defeat because I just felt like like I had really good equipment and everything. But this enemy was, I don't know, it spawned like a bunch of little enemies that just overwhelmed me and I couldn't defeat them all, and that like just totally destroyed me. So yeah, that ended really quick. I
That
think
sucks.
I played it a little bit after that, but I I haven't gone back to it since. But yeah, it's an awesome roguelike, side-scrolling platformer action game. The music is really good. Like the visuals are really cool. Like the controls, like the best part of it is just the way the game feels. Like everything
Yeah.
feels so quick and responsive, and you can get really good runs where you have really good weapons and items, and then sometimes you just get total crap, which kind of sucks. So that's one unfortunate thing about it. It's not consistent always.
Yeah, if I see a shield, I'm not picking it up because I never really used the shields.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a really cool game and a lot of fun to play. And I think I remember when I first got into it, it was still early access, or I think it had just come out. And I played it a ton then. And then when I went back to it again, they had changed like so much. It was almost like a different game as far as like the progression and stuff goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun to play. It's definitely worth playing if you like, action games. The only thing I guess I don't like is the randomness of it, but that's the way those roguelike kind of games are.
Yeah,
So,
there was like the procedurally generated like the area, like the actual area you're in is the same, but like the way the map is laid out is different. So it is
yeah, and like
you
the
can
drops
have,
and stuff. Yep.
yeah, that's all. Like that's the whole different thing though. But yeah, it's yeah, like it's probably like the one game on my Melon Mansions that was like really sort of put this in my top 10. Like if I finished it and played more than I did, I probably would have been in my top 10. because I think it's just really well made game though, and definitely one of the best sort of indie games that come out last year. And the fact is though, when it was on early access, it wasn't like, a broken piece of shit then.
No, it was really
some
good.
games are. It was still fucking good as hell when it was in early access, and it just got better when it came out. And a lot of people really like it now. It's just one of the best games that came out last year.
So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. So
Yeah, it's just a really well made game. Yeah, you just get weapons and stuff like that. Like if you play a lot of those rogue games, you pretty much know what to expect here.
yeah, like Rogue Legacy, it's similar to that as far as like the way it works.
No, but this is better Rogue Legacy.
Well, I think so too because I like the visual style more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Thank you, Derek. Dennis, number 9.
Yeah, okay. My number 9, sequel to a game that I really liked. I recently played this, so not going to dilly-dally too much. It's Hitman 2, which I played and finished. Well, the story mode, I guess you can say, in this game. It's Hitman. Not really anything has changed from the previous. I think they streamlined the game to a point where they know what people like from this game, and they know that they like the crazy stuff and the insane types of kills that you can do, and it's pretty much Hitman 1, but it's like the continuing adventures of Agent 47, I guess. There's more of a story this time around. Like you discover what 47's origins, and people get added to the crew. It's not you and that lady anymore. It's like 2 more people join your, I guess, association, whatever. So the places vary once again. You start off at a racetrack, and then you move your way around to at one time you're in the American suburb somewhere. You can invade somebody's barbecue in his backyard, start grilling some hot dogs, and stuff like that. And,
Death by barbecue.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, well, yeah, you could say there's one of the options to do that. You travel pretty much everywhere around the world. There's gorgeous vistas again. A lot of fun to be had. The final level in this game is fucking hard, like very, very hard. And I'm playing on the normal difficulty.
Is that the one in the castle?
Yeah, it's the one they did for Hitsmas.
Okay.
That's pretty much the final level, if you don't count the DLC, the free DLC that they made. So that's a very hard, level to do, but I got it done after a couple of tries because it's like do this, save, do this, save, do this, save. It's like
Save scumming.
yeah, a little bit of save scumming to get to what I want to do. But yeah, I mean, if you played Hitman 1, this is pretty much the same thing, except it's not episodic. Like the whole package is there. You get all the levels that you can immediately play. And I sadly missed a chance to kill Sean Bean, which that's too bad. But yeah, but you still have the same thing.
He's been killed enough times already. I'm sure
Yeah.
one from you wasn't gonna.
He died too much already, so.
Yeah, it seems like a weird decision to me. Like I don't want him to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I want to kill him in a game?
Yeah, because he dies in like every movie or,
Yeah.
most movies.
Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, you still have your what they call it, not the limited targets, but the you have a target each and every month that you have to kill, or each every 2 weeks.
Elusive target.
Target, yeah. So you still get some of those. Sean Bean was one of them. Apparently, there's other like movie stars that are gonna make cameos and be some elusive targets down the line. So
Gary Busey was like the only known one, last one, isn't it? In the last game,
Yeah, I think
wasn't
he
it?
was the last elusive target for.
No, he wasn't the last one, but he was the only
Yeah, he's the
like
only
celebrity
star that
one now.
was
Yeah,
actually an elusive target in the first Hitman.
yeah.
But yeah, you still it's still Hitman. There's not a whole lot to say here. It's the same format. It's the same thing. It's just new missions, new things to do, new ways to kill. More streamlined. Better. I guess better vistas, better places to go. Like the places are fun. There were great places in the first one, but here is more varied. I guess more variation in this one, I think. So yeah, very enjoyable. Still a very good game to play, and very fun to assassinate people with. I killed one person with a fish, so that was awesome.
Like a
Uh,
swordfish or something?
no, just whacking the guy with a fish.
Just whack him like a halibut or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
So just whacking him with a fish. Killed somebody dressed as a clown. I was dressed as a clown and drowned somebody in a toilet. That was great. So, all sorts of little things like that make, Hitman very, very cool. So, yeah, my number 9 was Hitman 2. So,
You're gonna buy the Hitman HD Enhanced Collection on PSN for fucking £50?
nope.
Jeez Louise.
No, not gonna get that.
Like that's ridiculous. So when I saw it yesterday, I was like, really? You're paying charging 50 quid for HD versions of a game that came out 12 years ago and a game that came out 6 years ago?
Yeah. What is it? It's Blood Money, right?
It's Blood Money and Absolution.
Okay.
Like the two before like the reboot.
Yeah, I think Dan Reichert's playing Blood Money right now because I saw him
Yeah.
post something on Twitter last night. But
Yeah, he did a video.
mhm.
So he did showed a video off.
But yeah, no, I'm not.
That's one of those games I really need to go. Like I got the first one and I played like the first two maps. Really liked it. Just never went back to it.
It's a really good game. I really enjoy the Hitman series, but it's become.
And I'll probably get this one as well because I know you can play the first season maps. This first
Yeah, you can
one's
play the
maps.
first season through the second game. If you buy the second game, you can play through
Yeah.
it. So
So yeah,
yeah, it's great.
it's actually pretty cheap as well on CD keys. It's like 20 odd quid or like less than 20 quid or something for like the silver edition.
Yeah, because sadly, I don't think this game sold very well. I don't think it made a whole lot of money, which is too bad for IO. But
Yeah, that is a shame as well. Like, I know the last one didn't really do that well, maybe because it was episodic, and I think that didn't help matters.
mhm, exactly.
But this is not really. And again, I think it came out. I think it came out like the same week as Fallout 76.
Yeah.
And like that didn't help matters either.
It's the better game, that's for sure. Hitman 2
Duh.
is. Yeah.
It doesn't because it wasn't a shit show.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, my number 8, and I assume this is probably going to be the only VR game that's going to be mentioned in any of our top 10 lists. So that pretty much should give you an indication what this game is.
Yeah.
It is, of course, Astrobot Rescue Mission.
I was going to say Astro Boy, but that's not the same thing.
No, it's completely different. Yes, Astrobot Rescue Mission came out a few months ago, and it kind of was like I actually saw this here. I think it was it was a PlayStation stream, like before, like a Sony PlayStation stream in Japan before like the TGS Tokyo Game Show. It was like maybe a couple of weeks or something before it. And this is actually the first time I've seen it. Although I didn't even realize there was actually a demo sort of something like this on like PlayStation Worlds beforehand. But this is the first time I've seen Astrobot, the red game. I was like, this looks pretty cool. And I said to myself, too bad it's VR. Because I would actually like to play this otherwise. But then actually saw that my VR headset was going it was good, bundles, so it was. So I decided to get it then. Because I actually wanted to get it VR headset for a while now, and this is pretty much the reason why to get it. And I got it, and I only finished the actual game there pretty recently though, but I've been playing it sort of on and off for the last couple of months. It's not like a very long game, but I played through it, and it is really delightful. And this is one of those games that I think it really does make sort of very cool use of VR though, where you pretty much in this, like, you just put the VR headset on and you're like, you control it with your bot and you just look around, and you have to sort of look around for your surroundings, like kind of 360, look behind you and sort of search for, you know, little wee other robots to rescue, and you look underneath platforms not there now. It's just not like, you know, straightforward, you know, go linear path now. You have to like look left and right and stuff like that now, and like, you know, look up and see where these other, like, you know, coins and, you know, bots not there, or and also like you have like your representation of a controller on your hand in the game itself, and like because you have to use the PlayStation camera as well, and there's certain, like, you know, things you obtain in certain levels of the game where, for example, you get like a hose pretty much, and it goes on the end of your controller, and you use like the touchpad, the fire, the hose, the fire, like this water gadget to like put out these fire enemies, and, you know, fill up this, you know, certain actual, you know, certain this, you know, empty like hole to fill up with water or something along those lines and stuff like, or like, you know, fire this like wheel to move this platform and stuff like that. Or there's like another level where, like one of the levels, the last levels I did, what I really liked was this one. It's like this in this like graveyard, like haunted area. It's called Bots and Goblins, and you get a light, and pretty much you use this light to maneuver and take out these like ghost enemies, like shine like the light on them, or like you go and like these platforms appear then, like these invisible platforms appear, and you use it to maneuver around this level as well. And certain things like that just make it's pretty cool. And like other ones, like, you know, you use shuriken, and you like fire these like like bullets as well, and another one's like use a rope to like attach to these certain hooks as well to maneuver your little wee astrobot around levels as well. And it's a very well made platformer. A lot of people consider this like to be this is to be something like Nintendo would make, and I actually tend to agree. Like, it's probably one of those best sort of platformers out there that's not a Mario game. It's definitely one of Sony's best efforts in a long time in the platforming genre, ever since, you know, say like Jak and Daxter and the Ratchet and Clank series, for example. And like the final boss in it is pretty cool. It makes sort of good use of those gadgets that you use to full fruition. And some of the, like, the boss battles in this game are very fun though, and use those like gadgets in certain ways. Like, whereas the first boss is like this big gorilla, and you use like the hook thing, like the rope, to sort of hook onto its teeth and like pull the teeth out and slam it onto the gorilla onto the ground, and like, you know, slams like his mouth open in the ground, and like his teeth break and stuff like that now. And or they'll use like a thing to point and throw like a bomb or something at this shark as well, and like break its teeth and stuff like that. It's just like cool little wee enjoyable boss fight. So, and yeah, that's pretty much all I could say about it. It's just a very well made platformer, and if you're considering getting PlayStation VR, and like you're like your platformers, this is definitely one I recommend getting. Though I really enjoyed playing this here, and that is Astrobot Rescue Mission. And I assume none of you are any interested in playing this.
I don't have VR, so I don't think of buying VR at all. So we'll see.
I can't do VR because I get motion sickness, so
yeah,
that's the main reason.
Yeah, that was the thing though. When I first started like playing it though, like I was fine for like maybe 10-15 minutes, and I did get a bit of motion sickness. But like the more I played it though, with this game in particular, the more I was fine with it. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the only games I played is this mainly, and I've played like 10 minutes of Skyrim, and I had to take off Skyrim because I was getting motion sickness of it like after 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So it was like there's a few other games I want to get. Like I have Resident Evil 7, so I want to play it in VR, and I want to play Super Hot VR and Moss because they're probably like the only other two VR games at the moment that I want to play. But hopefully there's more to come this year that are like, very good, though, or else this would be a complete waste of money. So anyway, that is Astrobot. So go ahead, Derek.
Okay. My number 8 is a game that neither of you have played, and not very many people probably have. It's a strategy RPG on PlayStation 4. Not officially released in this country, but it was released in the Southeast Asian region and translated into English. Super Robot Wars X. The translation is actually quite good. It doesn't feel like it's English, like a really bad translation. It's actually pretty good, and like the grammar is solid. It's not perfect, but it's good. There's no real major issues. I just like these series because I like a lot of the mecha anime that the characters are from. It's basically just like a hodgepodge of characters and robots and mecha from different anime series all together into one game. Multiple universes and stuff coming together to fight off like a greater evil, essentially. Story was okay. It wasn't really anything super great. There were some good moments and like callbacks to the actual anime series. Specifically, I really liked the Gurren Lagann series that's in this game. Other than that, the cast isn't the greatest. Like I've played other games that have had better casts, and that's usually the main appeal of these games. It's just what series are going to be in the game, what animes. Like the next game, which is Super Robot Wars T, and that comes out, I think, in the spring or like March, April timeline. That has Cowboy Bebop for the first time ever, and that's usually not considered like a mecha anime, but it does have some spaceships. So I know that's the actual unit that's going to be in it. It's like the main ship from the series. So that'll be cool, and I'm definitely buying that this year for sure.
Yeah, I know a lot of people love that series.
Yeah,
So they do.
it's
Cowboy Bebop's one of the, it's like sort of up there with a lot of people's like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that.
yeah, it's like favorite series, best series. Yep. Um, there's a series called the Brave Express Might Gain, and it's transforming trains that combine. It's actually from the same company that did Transformers in Japan, and it was after Transformers ended, like the original series ended, and then it kind of continued on in a different format in Japan, and this from the same like studio, so it has some of the same kind of stylings as Transformers G1. So that was kind of cool. And then there was a new series I never heard of called Mashin Hiro Wataru, which is like a children's show in Japan from, I don't know, probably early 80s. Never heard of, but I don't know. At first I didn't really think much of it, but the characters kind of grew on me as the game progressed, so I enjoyed that. And then of course there's tons of Gundam series in like every game. Zeta Gundam, Double Zeta Gundam, Crossbone Gundam, Gundam Wing, like pretty much.
Jesus, there's many Gundam series now. There is like Power Rangers or Super Sentai at this point.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the main draw is the series, like, and the combat's really fun too, and the animations, like some of the animations of the attacks are just completely over the top, and that's another reason why this series has been so popular over the years. Like that was it. It does get old after a while. Like if you want to use like your most powerful attack, you don't necessarily want to sit through 1 or 2 minutes of like this animation of the attack. You just want to see how much damage you did, or even if you defeated the enemy or not.
Yeah, you can't you
So
don't have the ability to skip it now.
you
Or
do,
anything
yep.
like that.
You can skip it, or you can either skip it, you can fast forward it, which is kind of cool, or you can just cut it out completely. Like you don't even see any of it. Like it doesn't even pop up. Like it'll just show the icons of the characters on the battlefield, they'll just like move, and then like a laser will go across the screen, and that represents your attack. Um, so you, like later on in the game, I'll watch. Usually, what I do is I watch either certain attacks like only once or maybe 5 times or so, or if it's like my favorite series, I'll leave those animations on and watch those. Um,
You never get sick of them.
yeah, yeah. So and the music is actually really good too. It has all the original music from all those series, and I think it's like recorded just for the game, so they're not taking like the original audio, but they're like re-recording it.
They remastered, pretty
Yeah,
much.
kind of. Yeah, or like a remix. Um, and you can actually set up the music to play like whenever you want. So if you like a certain series theme song, you can have that playing like the whole time. Or if you only want it to show up during battles, you can have it show up during the battles. It's really cool. It's really customizable that way. Um, and I heard in the new game that's coming out, Super Robot Wars T, is that it's going to support custom soundtracks, so you can play like anything you want in that game, which will be really cool. So like if you have MP3s on your PlayStation, you can just play those. So that'll be pretty cool.
Play some death metal or some pop while you're killing
You could,
robots.
yeah, you could. That'd be cool.
Some country.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, another Super Robot Wars game in the series. It's the first one I've played. It's the first main series game I've played in English. Um, Super Robot Wars V also came out earlier. I haven't played that one yet, but I do have it. And then Super Robot Wars OG, original generation. The Moon Dwellers, that's another English one. I have to play that one yet too. But yeah, I'm really glad that these are being released in not officially
English.
not official English, but good enough English. It's kind of like almost like a fan translation, but it's being released for. I think it's mainly the Singapore area. I think there's a lot of English speakers in Singapore. Um, so I'm glad that PlayAsia is releasing these in English now, because that's awesome.
What was the last one that was released here now, like officially in the West? Do you know?
I think it was the 3DS game. It was like Super Robot Wars Original Generation, and then there was another title. I forget what it was, like Brave Frontier or something. I think maybe.
Okay.
I think that was the last one, but that's not a core strategy RPG series game. That's more like Project X Zone. If you played that, it plays.
Yeah, I
just,
did play that.
It plays
Yeah.
just like that. So
Okay.
yeah, that's number 8.
Okay. Dennis, number 8.
All right, my number 8 is a co-op game that I played with Travis and got a platinum on. It is A Way Out, which, as I said, I played with Travis online. I have yet to play with you, Darren, because I know you wanted to play this game, and if I have a copy, I think you can play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't know when if you're like if you're
Well, we
around
can
I do.
running through it is
Yeah.
not that long. It took us maybe 3 nights to complete. Then we went back and
Yeah, I think
got
it's like
scooped up the trophies and everything. But
I think it's like 5 hours or something, 4 or 5 hours or something along
yeah,
those
it's not
lines.
very long.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, like you own a copy now. Don't
Yeah,
you?
I have a copy of A Way Out.
Yes. Yeah, so I could just play it with you though. So that's a great thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Very enjoyable. I really dug the story of this game. I thought it was very well made. The voice acting is all over the place, but the story itself is very good. Of course, there's I'm not going to spoil the ending because there's a little catch at the end, a little surprise.
You meet the brothers. You meet the You meet the brother from Brothers Tale of Two Sons.
No, not exactly. But there is a throwback to that game in this game, so I'm not gonna spoil it. When we play together, you're gonna see it. But yeah, there's it's pretty much like Brothers, like you said, Darren, except you're not. It's not the same it's not whimsical or anything like that. It's more of a like gritty two guys who I guess one gets rightly convicted and the other one gets wrongly convicted or something like that. And they're put in prison and they decide to escape together and they try to make their way out of the prison. Uh, maybe people think the entire game is in the prison, which is not the case. It's the prison's probably a third of this game, and then you go out and you go around some places, trying to find a way to escape from the cops and find a way to get back to uh, one of the characters' wives. I don't remember the names of the characters, so um, one of the characters' wives, which she has some information, and you're trying to take down the person who wrongfully put one of the guys inside. So, but there's more to it, which I do not want to spoil, so I won't say more about that. There's more to this story than it seems. So, I really like the whole co-op aspect of this. It's not a like tacked on co-op thing. It's really some person needs to do this thing, the other person needs to do that thing, and you guys need to work together to go through certain situations. I'm sure you guys saw some, video online of people playing this, and the things they need to do together.
Yeah, it was shown at it was shown at the E3 EA.
Yeah, they showed a bit on the E3 thing.
Not last year, the year before.
Yeah, they showed a little bit of it on the E3 thing. And I mean, you need to work together to get through some situations, and if you don't, well, you get caught, and you have to restart your where you were. I haven't played this solo, so I don't know how it plays with a computer opponent, a computer co-op partner. But playing it in co-op is very fun. If you get, if one of us screws up, it's like, oh man, we got to restart again, and then you go back and do I mean, it's not very, it doesn't punish you, you don't restart like 10 minutes ago or something like that. It's pretty much where you were, you restart where you fucked up and you have to redo your thing. But yeah, it's very good story. Good cast of characters, not great voice acting, but good cast of characters. Some good co-op action going on here. I really dug the whole. You have to really rely on your partner to get through certain situations. So, yeah, it's the ending is very surprising. I didn't see it coming at all. Not at all. Only at the very end I was like, oh man, something's not right here. Something's going on. So. Yeah, I didn't see the ending coming until we were pretty much on it, and Travis didn't see it coming at all. So, yeah, it's good. It's a highly recommended game. I don't know if a lot of people had it in their top 10, but it's good.
Well, Giant Bomb contemplating having it in their disappointing list.
Really?
So they did, yeah.
Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised?
But they didn't have it. They didn't put it in the short list at the end though. But like they were talking about it though. But that disappointing category was probably the most enjoyable to listen to, maybe because the fact is about Dan wanting Red Dead Redemption 2 on there, and Brad and Alex not wanted it on there, and Dan got his way, which was nice.
Okay. Dan got his way, so it made its way into demo.
It made most disappointing, yes, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because Brad sometimes tends to be where if he loves a game so fucking much, he doesn't want to hear anything bad about it. And that was pretty much the case with this here, where he just goes on and on about that game. Oh, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and basically whatever something says bad about it, he just basically says, I didn't have that problem in this game. I didn't have that problem. I thought it was fine and stuff like that. That's pretty much what I felt when I was listening to when they were talking about Red Dead stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Red Dead's not a perfect game at all. at all. It's a great game, but it's not
Yes,
perfect.
it's in my top. It's
Yeah, me
in my
too,
top
but
10,
it's
but I do have my
yeah,
problems with it.
it's not a perfect game at all.
Mostly on
Most
the gameplay
disappointing?
side of
No,
things.
it doesn't belong at all on that list, but yeah, okay. I don't know.
Okay, so my number 7 is a game that was already talked about already.
Okay.
I've been currently playing this game a lot. Yes, it jumped up to number 7, despite the fact I have not finished it,
Hmm.
but I have played like 30 hours into it pretty
Well, you
much.
pretty much played it, yeah. So it
Yeah,
does
I
count.
know what I know. I've played a good chunk of the game
Hmm.
already. I'm absolutely loving it. I've actually played. I've stayed up for a few nights this week, playing in the not to all hours of the
Hmm.
morning. That's how much I'm enjoying it, and that is, of course, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I got this on sale in Uplay. I got the Gold Edition, which is the one that comes with the DLC. Um, I was like 30 odd quid after reduction, because the thing I like about Uplay is you get an extra 20% off if you have a if you spend 100 U points, and I've got plenty of U points, so I just did it again, and that's the same thing I did when I got Origins on sale. And pretty much what Derek said earlier, though, I pretty much agree with. Like, I just really like the world itself. Like, I, I like when I first saw this back in E3, though, at first look, it's like I just thought this looked absolutely gorgeous. So I think this
It is a
the
gorgeous
Greek
game,
setting,
yeah.
yeah, I think the Greek setting, I think actually appealed to me more than Egypt, and I think probably because I'm probably a bit, I don't know, partial to Greek, because I played through the God of War games, and it's Greek mythology. It's set in Greece and all
Hmm.
that there, and I really like those games. So that's probably one of the reasons as well. Like, I was a bit more partial to this than I was in like other like previous Assassin's Creed games. And yeah, like I'm playing as Cassandra, so yeah,
Hmm.
and I actually quite like her as a character. So do. Um, she's basically as Mythios, basically a
Hmm.
mercenary. She
Hmm.
does different jobs. You can pretty much fight. You're not really assigned to one. You're not for the Athenians or the Spartans. You can pretty much go around and kill any
Yeah.
Spartans or any Athenians and stuff like that. And one of the things that wasn't mentioned before is like in certain areas of the map, though, there's like these like a certain area of the map might have a hold, the Spartans might hold it or Athenians might
Yeah,
hold
the
it, and you have
conquest
to go
part,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, the conquest stuff where you go around and have to go on forts and destroy war supplies to weaken their leadership on that, weaken their hold on that their area. And once you get it vulnerable enough, you do like a conquest battle. And
Still pretty much Middle Earth.
if you do, yeah, it's pretty much like you said before. It's very has that similarities to the Middle Earth like that way, and also the mercenaries things, kind of
Yep.
like the um, Nemesis kind of
Nemesis
thing
system, yeah.
in Nemesis
Not
system
Oh yeah,
refined.
didn't we?
But
We didn't
Yeah.
talk about the mercenaries.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be talking about it here now. Don't worry. But go back to the conquest. Yeah, once you like get weak enough, you go around, destroy war supplies and or kill like the captains and pole marches and like forts and stuff like that. And also if you kill like a leader of that area as
Hmm.
well, it pretty much like drastically reduces their hold on it though. And then once you, like I said, once the hold on it's like weak enough, then you could do a conquest battle. You can either go with the support of the like whatever opposition, say if it's a Athenian hold, then you can work for the fight for the
Hmm.
Spartans, and it's a harder battle, but you get two pieces of loot.
Yep.
Whereas if you just like help the Athenians defend it, you only get one. So it's more beneficial to you, although it's harder, but it's more beneficial to you to just go with the invading side. And I've done that time. I've done like 3 of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I have. Yeah, because I've got because some of the one of the bounties I think I did was like when win a battle with for Athenian or something, win a few conquest battles for Athenian soldiers or whatever it was.
Okay.
So something like that there. And yes, like the mercenary system is interesting as well in that you can go around and kill civilians or kill soldiers and that there. The one thing I do find weird though is, I don't know about you if you thought this here or not, or it just didn't happen with you, where sometimes you can kill a soldier and all of a sudden the thing does come up, the murder. You murder someone and then you might kill a soldier again just like 5 seconds later and it doesn't fill up again. Did you?
You're talking about like that meter on the bottom right?
Yeah,
the bounty meter.
I guess I never pay attention to it that closely to notice when it goes up or not.
I usually just pay it off and have it disappear. So.
I either just kill the mercenaries that show up, or if I find the guy to pay off, I'll kill him.
Mm-hmm.
There was a story mission where you had to assassinate somebody, and after I did that, a mercenary showed up and I was fighting him, and then a second one and a third one showed up while I was fighting the first guy.
Okay.
So I had to run, and then I kind of regrouped, and I was able to separate them, and I killed the one that I was fighting initially. And I actually fought the second one and the third one.
Jeez.
And killed them, and it was tough because then as soon as I was fighting those guys, other random soldiers started attacking me, non-mercenaries. It was it was hard, but it was fun, and you get usually pretty good loot out of that too.
Yeah.
So I do like that system a lot.
Yeah, and also you go a tier as well, and that's benefits as well. Like you fight certain mercenaries that are above you, and once you get to a certain tier, you get another benefit. Like you pay less for upgrades for a blacksmith or certain other things as well.
I didn't even notice that. Huh.
I don't know what I'm on tier 7 at the moment. But yeah, if you go into the mercenaries menu and press the left thumbstick, click it, it shows you the tier system. So whatever tier you're in, that's the benefit you get.
Okay.
So it is. So that's that's the thing. I know I always forget and remember the blacksmith ones though, where you pay less, it reduces the thing by 50%, your engravings and upgrades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very useful then, so it is. But those battles do there is certain times where I do kill a certain thing for a quest, and all of a sudden, pew, the meter goes up to 3.
Okay.
Meaning fucking 3 mercenaries are going to be on your ass and stuff like that. And yeah, that's the thing. Once 2 or 3 get on you, you pretty much have to fucking leg it.
Yeah.
And try to recuperate.
You don't
and then
pay
go
it?
back and try to.
You never pay your.
No, but you get good. Because I want to get up the thing and the totem pole pretty much.
Okay.
That's the reason why I do that there.
Okay.
Although one of them actually did, one of them was nearby. Okay. A mercenary was coming right, and before he actually encountered me, I paid off the bounty, and then it just fucking. So it wouldn't have.
He just turns away and and starts walking.
It turns away, and I went and just killed him then after that.
Have you had a mercenary show up when you're trying to be stealthy and take out a base or something?
Yeah, I've had that.
That's super annoying. It's oh, come on, I don't want to deal with you right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that does sometimes happen where I'm in the middle of a fucking trying to do a base and try to kill the enemies, and all of a sudden fucking fighting our captain, all of a sudden stupid fucking mercenary comes oh, for fuck's sake.
I was doing one and I was level maybe 12 or 13, and then level 47 fucking mercenary shows up or something. I was okay, well, I'll come back later. See you later.
Yeah, that's the weird thing as well.
Else.
You're in that's the weird thing as well. You're in an area you're only in your I'm level 14 or something, and then there's these.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of them in the focus area, I think it is, or Madras, I think it was.
Yeah.
Where there's ones who are 20, 30 levels above you. It's why are they here? Why are they not around my level?
That's a little weird. It's a weird thing.
That's the only thing that's weird at the moment, though, where you find counter mercenaries but that's really, I think, the only area that I've come across. And sometimes you do get mercenaries at a higher level than you, but you haven't encountered them. Mm-hmm. You just get them from mercenary clues by killing mercenaries. So you do. But yeah, that system, I think it's pretty cool. That's the reason why I don't really pay off I do it sometimes nowadays when it's fucking, oh, this is too much at the moment, I don't want to deal with them. Mm-hmm. But I tend to try to fight them. And the thing is, well, sometimes you do fight mercenaries. A lot of mercenaries come along and they're not like the next person in line. They're like the ones that are lower level than you, and therefore you fight them, and therefore you're not going to go up higher in the tier as well, which kind of sucks. Like I've done that a bunch of times as well.
Yeah.
Like there actually was one I had to fight on a boat, so it was, and I got killed.
Oh yeah, I saw one. Yeah, when I was riding around on the boat, and I was like, oh, there's a mercenary on that boat. Holy crap! And I avoided him. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to do the boat.
Yeah, I tried to fight him though, but unfortunately I got killed. But then I counted him later on. I was higher level then.
So did you fight him?
Destroyed him.
Did you jump on the boat, or were you fighting him just using your boat?
No, I was just fighting. No, this wasn't I couldn't initiate boarding. No.
Okay, so you're just using.
This was actually fighting with the ship.
So like the arrows and the javelins and stuff. Yeah.
Destroyed my ship. Yeah.
I do like using like the battering ram. Like that's fun. Like when you speed up with the oars and then you smash into another ship and like smash it in half. Like that's really fun.
Yeah, I just love when you just destroy this ship and it's like you can board it or just basically destroy it in half with the rod. Yeah, I always enjoy doing that. I tend to alternate between doing that and just like boarding and killing the enemy. So like if you don't get really great loot,
you get health.
Anyway.
You get health back when
you health back, and that's pretty much it though. Like most of the chests you get or something, they're not really that great. The thing I do like though is like sometimes you board enemies and try to like if you have like a strong weapon, just whack a like elite soldier and just like fucking falls off the ship and drowns or something. Then that's happened a few times as well. But yeah, like I said, I've been playing this pretty much a lot though over the last week or so. Like I got a New Year's Day or like before New Year's I think anyway, and started playing it and just really played a lot of it since. So like we played 30 hours though, and I'm basically definitely going to finish this game. Like I really like just some of the quests are fun to do. One of the things I don't like as well, that there's not a lot of synchronization points compared to other Assassin's Creed games. There tends to be only like maybe one in each like region,
once in a while,
area in the region. Yeah. And sometimes you want to go, I want to do this quest, but the fact is the closest fast travel point is over here, and therefore it's going to take me a few minutes to get over to that quest pointer then.
I do wish there were more fast travel points.
Yeah. I do like you can fast travel to the ship.
Yep.
That's like
cool.
one good thing as well. But yeah, that's probably one of my biggest gripes of the game. I just wish there was more synchronization points so you can fast travel now. Because like in previous Assassin's Creed games, it just seemed to be flipping one every like 50 yards or 50 feet or something, whereas this one like quite spread apart because this is like a huge open world. I'm pretty sure this is like the biggest open world they've done in an Assassin's Creed game.
Seems like it.
So, yeah. I think so.
Like I'm sure Egypt was nothing compared to this now.
Yeah.
Because like this is like huge. Like there's a lot of like different islands now as well, like the Greek islands. But yeah, like we've talked enough about it already though. But I'm really digging it though. I think it's absolutely gorgeous to look at. I really like the combat. It's just very Witcher-esque. I like the different abilities you use. Like I got an ability there to help, like you can summon one of your lieutenants to distract an enemy and stuff. Can your
lieutenants die or not?
I don't think they can.
No, I don't think so. No,
it doesn't seem to be the case.
I haven't unlocked that because I don't want to risk them dying.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll have to try.
Well, I only used it like once or twice though, because it's only one of those ones I recently got. And I got the shield breaker one, which is a fucking huge help against those shielded enemies.
Yeah. Is that a warrior ability?
I think it is. Yeah.
It's essential if you're like fighting them head on. Like I very much, because some those shielded enemies like just
they're
annoying to fight sometimes. Yeah, but that's like if you're fighting them head on, get that ability. Like the first level. Yeah, you're not trying to
conquest things.
Yeah. Like if you're just trying to like the first level is where you could do the small shield, but like when you get if you get the second level, that's all shields then, like all the small and large shields. So it's very essential. It's very essential though, so you can just whack at them then. But yeah, like also like we briefly talk about like the cult of Cosmos, which is basically the same sort of underground group. They're pretty much like the sort of antagonists of the game at the
Yeah.
moment, so they are.
Or like the Illuminati
Demos,
or something.
Yeah.
yeah, Illuminati. Yeah, the Demos is like their leader, and you go around and take them. That's like the sort of hit list kind of thing, which is actually quite fine, and also it's very good because you get some like legendary armor.
Yeah.
Piece of legendary armor from killing them from killing one of them, and I've gotten like I think 5 or 6 of them at the moment, and there's one I have to get. It includes like this cultist owns a quarry and slave operation in Attica, so I have to find where that is. I think it says help people nearby to sort of get the clue to where his whereabouts are. But that's at the moment though. But yeah, I will be playing a lot more of this over the next month or two. Probably alongside Kingdom Hearts 3, which comes out the end of this month. But yeah, that's Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I just really am enjoying it at the moment. I just don't know. This is like one of those games that's come across. I kind of regret not buying this when it came out. If I was going to enjoy it this month, because if I did, it would have been higher on my list.
Yeah, if I would have played more, it probably would have been higher on mine too.
So anyway, Derek, you're number 7.
Okay. My number 7 has also been mentioned a little bit in Darren's honorable mentions, and that is Ni no Kuni 2. I enjoyed this. I think I enjoyed this more than the first game because I like the combat better. And I think I personally enjoy the story more. I think it's a very lighthearted story that has likable characters. It's not like super deep or like what's the word? I don't know, negative. It's like everything's really kind of positive, even though there's some there's some sad moments for sure, but just like the overall feeling of the characters and the world and the story is just kind of lighthearted and not very stressful, just kind of enjoyable. Visually, it looks great, just like the first game does.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that though. This game does look gorgeous. But like I said, the first one was one of the best looking games of that year.
Yeah, it looks just like a Studio Ghibli movie come to life, pretty much. It has that kind of similar art style. I really like the kingdom building mode a lot. I actually completed everything in it, like got all of the trophies, like got all the characters. I actually almost got the platinum in the game. I'm just missing, I think, a couple. There's a whole dungeon that opens up at the end, like once you do all of the dark doors or whatever those are called, like the very dream doors. Yeah, the very last one is on like this island, and you can't go inside it until you've finished all those first 12 or 13 of them. That I haven't finished yet. It is harder. It's like the hardest content in the game, at least before any of the DLC or patches or anything. And I think there's like 2 trophies associated with that I'm missing. Otherwise, I have everything else. But yeah, the city building mode, I enjoyed that so much that I used my Vita to do remote play from my Vita.
Oh wow!
Like either up in my room when I was like going to bed, just so I could manage my city, or I brought it to work a few times, or for about a week I would bring it to work, and then when I would have a break or a lunch or something, I'd check on it there. And it didn't work that great. Like it wasn't anywhere near as good as like the Google Project Stream for streaming Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But it works.
Because that's to connect to your PS4 though. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. It works well enough just for that mode because it doesn't require a lot of like timing or anything like that. It's just you're clicking on a button and then hitting you're just hitting a button. You're not worrying about dodging attacks or attacking and stuff like that. So, yeah, like that whole game could be a mobile game and it could be its own thing. There's like so much to it. But in order to progress, you have to get more characters through the main story, and some of them you can't get until you progress through the story itself. Um,
Yeah, that's the thing as well. You have to do like side quests are pretty much a kind of essential thing to do as well because a lot of them are tied to side quests as well.
yep. Um, yeah, and like we mentioned earlier, it is easier for sure. Like overall, like there's some bosses even early on where it's just like you kill them in like less than 30 seconds, and it's like holy crap, this is a little too easy. Like the first game I thought was maybe too hard in some spots, but this is a little too easy. I think they did patch it and they added a hard mode, so if you want to turn it on hard mode, you can. I don't know if there are any rewards for that or not, but yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story and characters. It just had this like lighthearted feel to it. Um, and I think I put like 60 hours or something into it. So yep, that's all I have to say on Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah, like it's a game I'm definitely gonna have to go back to. I wish I played more of it though. I got this. I got the chapter. I think there's 9 chapters, isn't there?
I don't recall.
I think there is 9 chapters though. I'm chapter 5. I'm on this island at the moment. Cause like the last time I did, I just spent a lot of time looking around these areas I didn't explore. Like looked up a bit and so, geez, there's a bunch of these caves and stuff like that. I didn't even know that existed. Cause I don't know. I had to look them up. They're not there. But yeah, I definitely have to go back and play it. But yeah, I like the gameplay out there. I'm sure the story might pick up. Like it's not like I don't hate the story now. I think I like the story in the first one more. But again, that's the problem is I haven't finished this one though, so it could pick up for all I know towards the end. Anyway, Dennis, you're number 7.
Yeah, my number 7 game is Far Cry 5. That's a game that I played with in co-op mostly with once again Travis. Uh,
You're playing a lot more games with Travis nowadays than
yeah, well, I played
me.
most of these games during the summer also, so these are games that came out mid-year. That was kind of playing along, like he was like, "Hey, you want to play this? Want to play that?" So yeah, okay.
Well, and also because he had them as well. I didn't have
Yeah.
them, so that's not a reason.
So you guys didn't have Far Cry, so I played most of this game in co-op. I think it's the story is not that great. It's a Far Cry story, so it's not fantastic. Um, but the rest, everything around the game, going in and doing some like liberating some, because in this you liberate certain areas in the map. You go to a place that's holed out and you need to liberate it. You kill everybody there and you liberate it and you bring it back to the to your side, I guess, because you play as an FBI agent who's left for dead pretty much in this place, led by a cult leader um, who has like his brothers and sisters who are part of his cult. And before you go after him, you need to kill, the other members of his family to bring him into the light, and then go after him and kill him, of course. Um, the only thing good about the story is that it doesn't really end in a way that I thought a Far Cry story would end. Like there's a twist at the end, which once again another game that I didn't see the ending coming at all. I was like, okay, well, is this over? Is this, is there more to it or something? But no, yeah, that's the way the game ends. Um, but yeah, I did enjoy playing, co-op and going in and you just liberating places and doing the story missions. You see some characters that were in previous Far Cry games that come back in this one, uh, which is cool. You get to see a couple of them that were in 4 and I don't think 3, but I think there's that guy from 4. I can't remember his name. The guy that flies a helicopter around. What's his name again?
His name begins with H, doesn't it?
Yeah, Hank.
Oh, like
Hank.
Hutch or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the guy that flies you around and drops you off and stuff like that. So he's a part of your crew because you recruit people to be a part of your crew to take down this cult leader. And yeah, I enjoyed the time that I spent playing this game. The story is nothing to write home about. There's nothing really great about the story except the ending, which is a twist that I didn't see coming. Um, Characters are pretty bland, and it's not really stereotypical stuff, like cult stuff. But yeah, I did enjoy the whole running around and destroying stuff and killing people and just like like mayhem, general mayhem, pretty much everywhere. And playing it co-op is fun, because I used to. What I did with Travis is that I took a plane and he'd get in and I'd fly the plane and I just drop off and jump out and leave him in the passenger seat.
You
And
dick.
there's no way for him to get into the like the driver's seat if you want. It's not like a car that you can drive away, but he was stuck in the plane. Like at one time he was like, "Okay, I'll be right back," and you can fly us there. I was like, "Okay." We flew up and just dropped out and left him in the plane. And he came back and he was dead. It was like, "What happened?" I don't know. I don't know. The plane crashed. I don't know. So yeah, it's you can have all sorts of crazy stuff. Like there's not a ton of crafting or a ton of upgrading stuff. Like they left that all out of the game. It's pretty much just run and gun and liberate places and get some guns and get some ammo and stuff like that. It's pretty much a shooter thing. So yeah, it's still enjoyable. So the fun it's more of the fun that I had playing it with Travis than the whole I guess game because it's pretty much like a generic shooter thing that you play, but it's it's more of the fun that I had playing it that puts it at number 7 for my games of the year. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'd like to get this so if play through it though if you're still interested because that's the only reason why I'd play it
Yeah,
though because to play it through co-op.
that's made the main reason I
Yeah,
got it was to play co-op. So I don't really care about Fallout, not Fallout, but Far Cry stories or whatever. So yeah, I pretty much got it to play for co-op. So I wouldn't mind going through it with you if you want. Upgrade my guy a little bit
Cause
more.
that, cause that was one of the reasons why I had Far Cry 4. Like I had it number 10, I believe, in 2014. I think one of the reasons was because I played a lot more of it in
Hmm.
co-op, despite the fact that you couldn't play through the story in co-op
Yeah.
in it 4, which kind of sucked. And glad I did it in this one, although I just never gotten around to
Yeah.
actually buying it.
Hmm. I think
I do
four
want to
is
try
more
it at
like
some point.
yeah. I think more four was like just doing the outposts pretty much, right? In
Yeah.
co-op and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could just do certain things like
Yeah.
outposts and a few other little side mission stuff though, but couldn't do like any of the main story
Hmm.
missions. Which kind of like I said, that was just crap thing though, because I would have just played through like game entirely in co-op if I was able to.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really progress a huge lot. I didn't progress a lot in story in 4 because I said I played maybe 75% of it in co-op with you and Derek.
Hmm. And now there's the new Far Cry thing coming out next year.
Yeah, New
New
Dawn.
Dawn. Yeah. That has to do with the
What do you
ending of
think?
Far Cry 5. So,
Oh, really?
yep.
Huh.
Yeah, I heard it's like the same map anyway,
Yeah, it's the
pretty
same
much.
map.
So
It's the events that occur after the ending of 5. Because you do see the at the end of the trailer, you see the villain from Far Cry 5. So
okay,
yeah, it's pretty much a continuation.
maybe I'll get that then instead, and we can play some co-op.
Yeah, it's probably co-op. I'm guessing it does have some co-op.
I hope so. If it's not, then forget
Yeah.
it. That's the only reason I play that now. Those games.
Yep. So that's it. My number 7.
Okay, right. After this one, we were going to be taking a break.
Yes, because I need to walk a
Um,
little bit.
yeah, we've been going for 3 hours now. This is ridiculously long
Yep.
by our standards. Okay, number 6 is one of the indie darlings of the year. It is another platformer. It is a hard as nails platformer. It came out pretty much around the start of the year last year, and it is Celeste. I don't know when exactly I got this now. I don't think I got it when it came out though. I think I got it like sometime afterwards. I heard a lot of good things about this here.
Hmm.
I just heard it was like a really pretty nice little platformer though. It has this sort of, he plays this girl, I think Madeline her name is, and her sort of goal is she wants to climb this mountain that's called Celeste. And but there's actually a lot more to it than just that sort of simple story that actually deals with sort of like a mental illness and stuff like anxiety and stuff like that there. And you come across this kind of dark Madeline and things like that. And you come across this other character, I forget his name, is this character you come across sometimes during the game, and you like talk about certain things and all that there, and a few other characters you come across throughout the game that sort of deal like kind of deal with like sort of mental problems and stuff like that there. And the it's like a pixel art platformer, but it's pretty much like one of those, you know, some people say, oh, it's like one of those like, you know, Kaiser platformers or something like Super Meat Boy. The difference between this and Super Meat Boy is I actually finished this game, where Super Meat Boy I did not. There's like there's 8 chapters overall, but there's so much to it though. Like you go around in these areas and you find these strawberries. So you do. They're pretty much the collectibles in the game. So you do, but you don't really need to get them if you just want like a sort of better ending per se. You can get them all, but some of them are more tricky to get though. Some of them are easy, like they're just on like your beaten path. But other ones you have to do these like jump through these like hoops and obstacles and stuff like that to get them. But once you actually obtain a strawberry, you can't go, all of a sudden I can't, you know, just get it instantly. You have to like traverse it back a bit, and then it'll pop up that you got the strawberry. But this is a very tricky platformer though. You have a double jump, but the thing is, and you cling on to the walls and stuff like that there, but you need to land on a flat platform again to sort of gain your jump back until like the last chapter in the game, where you actually have your hair color changes and stuff like that, and you actually have like, you know, 2 jumps after, like, you know, jumping off rather than just the one. And therefore you think it'll be easier, but it actually isn't. It actually gets a bit more trickier. Like the last level in this game, especially the space side, because not just the normal route to the game, there's base sides that you unlock by getting these, like they're blue strawberries or something along those lines, like these hearts, these crystal hearts or something, these silver hearts or something, and hidden one is in each chapter. And once you collect one of them, you get unlocked to the B-side, which is basically has the same sort of theme, like the same area, but it's just like it's like a completely different level, and it's just like a lot harder. Like, but you don't have to go around and collect you know, strawberries or anything like that. They're just basically pretty much try to get to the end without ripping your hair out in frustration. And once you beat all of them, then there's a seaside, which is basically shorter versions of the other ones, of the levels, but they're even harder, which is basically you have to be really perfect. And that's when I bowed out, because I looked online and see what they were like, and I was like, nope, I am completely out. I finished this normal chapters and the B-side chapters, and that was all I can handle. But I really think this game, like, there's certain parts that I think are really frustrating. The jumping on the clouds in the 7th chapter is probably up there with probably the most frustrating parts for me this year. Because just it was just 50-50 where sometimes you have to hit the button at a certain time when you're bouncing off a cloud to get the right height to jump over, not to get to the next platform or next cloud and stuff like that. And half the time it just seemed I was hitting at the right time but didn't hit high enough, and therefore I hit a spike, or another time would do it all right. And also the fact is you have to do like a combination of these each time, bouncing off clouds and try to maneuver and try get through this little wee cling onto this wall, this wee little gap between spikes and stuff like that. Like, it's really tricky. If you are not a fan of platformers, which I know none of you are, then this game is definitely not for you. It is hard. Like, I like platformers. I like hard platformers perhaps, but
this is too hard.
Sometimes this is it gets a bit too hard though. Like, I died loads of times in those last few chapters. But I still had a blast though. It's just a really nice game. I think the music in it is very good. It's just a really nice, charmful, like cheery kind of soundtrack and spots, and there's like a bit more gloom and doom during the sort of more darker moments, I guess. And yeah, I really like it. It's Celeste at number 6. Actually, it's coming up a year since it was released, and apparently there's going to be DLC that apparently is even harder than the hardest levels in the game, according to the creator on Twitter. Which is like, yep, I'm looking forward to seeing them being played by people, because I am not touching them. So anyway, Derek, you're number 6.
All right. This is a game that everybody hates, and I don't think either of you have played. But I played a lot of it, and I really enjoyed it. And it's not a bad game if you can kind of focus on the fact, or like not treat it as a sequel to a big, huge AAA franchise, like a true sequel, like a kind of like a side story kind of thing. And that is Metal Gear Survive.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's right, you played that.
I loved the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5, and this is more of that, but with base building and like weird alternate dimension beings and stuff. I know people have issues with like the fact that it's not Kojima, and I think people are claiming that the story in this game is like trying to undo all the other Metal Gear games, but I don't think that.
It's just a spin-off, pretty much. Just treat it like a spin-off.
Yeah.
It's not like canon anyway. Like, Kojima's gone now. They still have the Metal Gear license.
Yeah, they have to do something else than pachinko machines, I guess.
Yeah.
Because all they have otherwise is fucking Pro Evo. That's pretty much all they do nowadays.
But I don't know. I really like the gameplay of 5, and this is the same gameplay. It's like the same engine. It's just, it's like a new game to use that gameplay in. I'd really enjoyed building my base and customizing it and unlocking new parts of it, rescuing survivors, bringing them back to the base, unlocking new kinds of weapons and new not abilities, but actually you do get abilities when you level up, but also like items and tools and gadgets and stuff. I don't know, it's really fun, and like finding the cassette tapes that have old Konami music. Like, you can play Castlevania music at your base, which is really cool.
You actually mentioned that. Now, that's the one thing I actually forgot about when I was talking about Super Smash Brothers. The
cassette
music
tapes.
in that game is just a huge flipping library of music from like Nintendo series, and it has awesome Castlevania music as well. So it does.
The story is interesting. It's not anything too special or crazy. Well, and it's kind of crazy, but like you somehow, like some of the crew from God, man, it's been so long since I played this in 5. Somehow some crew gets transported to another world, and they don't know where they are, and they're trying to get back, and then it turns.
It's when your attack gets based. It's when your
base gets attacked.
Yeah.
At the end of Ground Zero.
Yeah,
right.
So,
Yep. So you're in some other world, and you're trying to figure out, or you're trying to get back, and then you figure out that um, people in like the government have known about this world for a long, long time, and they've been, experimenting on it and stuff. There's this big, huge monster thing that's very Cthulhu isn't the right word. I'm thinking of the writer of that book, but it has that kind of mysticism to it. You don't really know what it is, but it's just huge. And that's kind of like the main villain essentially in most of the game. But after you finish it, then there's even more to it. Like there's other bosses that you can fight. I haven't done that, but I did finish like the main story. There is a co-op mode, which is actually kind of cool. I played it with some random people a few times, and you do get some really good items from that. It'd be worth playing with people you actually know and you can talk to. It's kind of like I guess it's like a wave-based survival thing, similar to the Mass Effect 2 multiplayer, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Mass Effect 3, you
Mass
mean?
Effect 3, yeah.
3, yeah, sorry. Like you're guarding the spot, and like there'll be waves of enemies that come towards you, and you can set up defenses, like fences and stuff, or different traps.
It's pretty much what the Gears of War Horde mode and Zombies mode.
I guess so,
pretty much
yeah.
are.
Yeah, I guess so. And then if you survive all the waves, then you get rewards and stuff, and some of the best gear you get from that. Like it has a loot system, just like pretty much every game does these days,
Mm-hmm.
where there's like epic and legendary and all that. But for most of the game, you're not going to get epic or legendary until like very late. And then the best stuff you'll get is from the multiplayer mode. But I don't know. There's something about that combat system and that engine that I really like, and I just like playing more of it. It was the gameplay. It wasn't the story. It was the gameplay and building my base and expanding it, and moving stuff around, customizing it, and defending it. Setting up fences and traps and like turrets and stuff. And I don't know. I really liked it. It was fun.
I think you're probably the first person I know
Yeah,
that
same
actually
here.
has that in their top 10.
Probably, yeah.
Because I think pretty much most of the general consensus of that game, I think people probably did like it now, but from people I've seen, it's just pretty much, yep, this game sucks. Although I think Brad did mention that he liked the actual system in it as well, I believe.
That could be.
I think
So-
people are really getting hung up on the story and Kojima not being in there and trying to treat this as like a mainline Metal Gear game, which I don't think you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be kind of like either like a side story or like an alternate story or something. It's not.
Yeah, like I'm sure like there is people who pretty much didn't want to give this game a chance because of that there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other people who did give it a fair chance but just didn't like it.
So yeah, I don't know. I think people didn't give it a fair shot. That's too bad.
Yeah. You're the first
Okay.
person that I've heard give praise to that game, to be honest with you. Like people just fucking shit on that
Surprised me.
game completely constantly. So it's different. It feels good to hear somebody actually give it, props. It's it's different than people shitting all over it.
Yeah, it's just nice to see. Like I didn't really have any interest in playing it anyway though. But like I'm just glad to see that someone like I know did enjoy it though, because most everyone else just, like as Dennis said, just hated it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to try the co-op if you are ever interested at all. I don't know what it's like now. They may have changed stuff. So
Yeah, I don't know, but I think you can probably get it for dead cheap nowadays anyway.
Oh,
So
yeah, sure.
maybe pick it up. Okay, so anyway, thank you, Derek. And Dennis, your number 6 before we take our break.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you for reminding me of this game. I had to reshuffle my top 10 a little bit to fit it in here. Number 6 is Paladins, Champions of the Realm. So I had to reshuffle my top 10 for that. I completely forgot that this game came out this year. Um, I played. I shouldn't have forgot it because I played a ton of this game at the beginning of the year, like the end of last year, beginning of the year, this year. I I think I played every night for a good chunk of like between like an hour or two every night of this game. Like I was getting pretty good because it's like Overwatch. You have your heroes that you here they call them champions in this game, but you have your hero that you pick and that you always play as, and you level up. And because in this particular game, it's not like Overwatch where you have a general level that goes up and doesn't give you really any bonuses or anything. In this game, you have a general level, and you have a level per each champion that you play. So
Yeah, like a mastery
yeah, mastery
level,
level,
pretty much.
and you level up your mastery, and you get some powers that you can give them. Like you level up your powers and you level up your stuff. It's a little bit like a mix between Overwatch and a MOBA, pretty much. Like with the whole leveling up of powers and leveling up of the different characters and all that. So I chose like I used to play a lot as Gronk, who is a healer. So that was my main character. I like playing as healers in these types of games. Overwatch, same thing. Uh, no, nobody chooses a healer, so I just jump in there and choose a healer and play as a healer. Um, so I had a couple of others that I played a little bit as. Torvald was my tank that I used to use a lot. So those characters were leveled up very very high. But I played the beta, and as soon as the main game was launched, I had lost
All your
everything.
progress got
Yeah,
wiped.
I lost
Ah,
everything.
sucks.
Like when I played with you earlier on this year, Darren, when the full game was out, I had lost all of my stuff, all of my gear, all of my levels, everything. I had lost everything from what I had gained. So I said, fuck this game. I'm not I'm not playing it anymore. I'm done. S-
That was probably when we were getting fucking completely
Yeah, we were
owned
getting
as well.
destroyed in when we jumped back on and played the
Yeah, it was just,
full
yeah.
release. We were getting
And that
murdered.
was after like a few. That was after like a few months break as well. I was like, okay, you up to playing some paladins, and then all of a sudden, this is not fun
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. We played what 2 or 3 games and we're like, nope, okay, let's just play something else because we are getting murdered. I couldn't even do anything, and I was actually pretty good when I was playing the beta of this. I was, my characters were leveled up and I was, doing well. So kind of pissed me off that they wiped everything. But for the beta and for the time that I played it, and there wasn't many, like it was like what 4 maps maybe, 4 or 5 maps and 2 modes. So it's not the end of the world, compared to Overwatch, who has like what 10, 15 maps now, maybe. So it's it's
15, 20, I guess. 15 to
yeah,
20,
pretty much,
I'd
yeah.
say.
So it's not even comparable. But I enjoyed the time I had with this game, and spent a lot of nights playing it. And yep, I really really loved my time with it. I'm not gonna go back to it because I don't want to restart from the fucking beginning and level up my characters and all that. So sadly, we're not playing any more of it. But yep, for the time that I played it, I enjoyed it. So, and I'm looking at the page right now. There's like 2 or 3 new champions already. So I guess they're doing the Overwatch thing of adding new characters to the game and everything. So
Yeah, cause like we just like I don't know. I think I just asked you or something one night. I just seen that Paladins was on. It's like, you want to play Paladins? Because I think I said to you, like, you want to try this out because I heard it's like Overwatch, and like you said, yeah, let's go. And then we just downloaded the beta, and
then
in the beta, like, this is like free to play as well, because you have to, if you want to lock all the heroes, you have to pay like, you know, so much. I think it was £15 for me or something.
Yeah, I think it was like $15-20 for me, something.
Yeah, I think it was something along those lines to unlock all the champions, and then
future champions that will come out.
Future champions as well. But the thing is, as well, there's a lot of microtransactions in this game.
No, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I paid some of my cash, not really to get, you know, chests and stuff like that, but more to like to unlock all the heroes, and then I paid to get like special unlocks, and, you know, I paid to have my characters, you know, like skins for my characters, because in this, compared to Overwatch, you can actually pay to get the skin that you want and put it on your character, which is something you can't do in Overwatch, which is dumb as hell, but yeah, you can actually pay to get a skin to put on your character here, so.
Yeah, that's one thing this game has over Overwatch, in my opinion.
Yep, I actually paid like a couple of bucks to get a good skin for my Gronk, like the undead skin, which was pretty cool. So yeah, for the time that I spent with this game, I really, really enjoyed it, and that's why it's my number 6 of 2018. So there you go.
Right. 3.5 hours later, we're only done with part 1.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, we're recording this, we'll be taking
we're going to do 7
break.
hours of podcasting.
Yeah. Try not. Well, we're not going to go on too long with the next disappointments. Won't be.
Yeah, you guys don't pretty much have practically nothing to talk about. So.
Yeah, I have one game. That's it. So, yeah. So we'll talk about it, and then we get through our top 5. So anyway, stay tuned for part 2.
See you later.